gentlemen, today, North America August Open. We've got with us here a new series, Kappa Wolves versus Panda Global. I am Babel, joining me today is Jester. So, Kappa Wolves versus Panda Global. I know which side you're on.
Yep, you do. By now. Yeah, the Pandas, I've been just citing the virtues of Pandas because I saw them playing all throughout everything, but I haven't seen their signature strat yet, and I'm not going to tell you what it is until I see it.
Oh, really? Now,
Ooh,
Kubi.
secret stuff. I'm always going to be rooting for Kappa Wolves because they play the zany heroes, and that always is really exciting to me, and we saw the Lost Vikings out of them, and they always have crazy strategies, pulling things out of the meta, and I love seeing that type of courageous ingenuity out of those guys.
I have to elaborate. I mean, a lot is on the line here. It's the last chance to qualify for the Americas Regional, and that's really important on this Road to BlizzCon. So also, Heroes of the Storm North America Road to BlizzCon is brought to you by our official hardware partners, Gigabyte and NVIDIA. So thank you very much to the sponsors for being here for us today. Also, we got some winners today, Kubi.
That's right, we do. Congratulations to Sean McRobbie and Kevin Bailey. They have just won an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 950 graphics card. And if you guys want to have a chance at winning one, go to esl.gg/August NA Open. Good luck.
All right,
I can just imagine two nerds in their bedrooms just...
Is that me?
I won that.
Is that me? No.
No, and don't worry, we're never going to say Jake Kalinske either, so... no cards for him.
That's going to be painful. All right, so here we have the draft is ready. Kappa Wolves versus Panda Global. Of course, please use the hashtag Here'sWC to join in on the conversation and show your support for either Kappa Wolves or Panda Global.
And Kubi, once more, we're going back to Sky Temple.
Yes, that will be the battleground of choice for the first game here between Panda Global and Kappa Wolves. We're going to see the Zagara band out first, and that has been such a strong factor in the games we've seen on Sky Temple. The lane control, especially in that bottom lane, just getting that leg up for the second rotation of temples, so important.
So we've kind of had like the 5 power picks rotating in around the bands, rotating around the first pick. So though Jaina has slightly fallen off for that one, Kael'thas, Zagara, Leoric, and, well, there's probably more, but those 3 at least have been very much involved. Zeratul, there we go, has been very much involved with either the picks or the bans at a very early stage. So I'm curious, what will Panda Global go for their first? Will it be the Zeratul or will it be the Leoric?
I'm just happy it's Sky Temple. But yes, it's Zeratul, and I'm also very interested to see that, you know, Nazeebo's getting picked up a lot, but he hasn't really been banned out as a first ban, so that's not much of a factor. You also see a lot more help from Jaina nowadays, and that's still consistent. There we have it, Jaina, Zeratul. Yep. This is pretty old school, actually.
Now, if history's going to repeat, this is where Kappa Wolves takes Abathur.
Oh.
Yes, I mean, it pairs well with Zeratul in particular, but having the clone of Jaina...
a drafting god?
I know, jeez. Does this mean that we have a Leoric to follow this up for Panda Global? Seems to be the next strong warrior pick. Yep. Are they going to try to lock that in early, or are they looking for something else?
Panda then probably with an Uther, right? Oh, well, all right. It's a warrior. It's going to be that Johanna Babel, but what do you think for the third slot?
Oh,
ooh, there you go.
Nazeebo. Definitely. Teams are no longer allowing Nazeebo to go to the second picking phase because of the second ban possibility on their hero. Nazeebo with Johanna applies a lot of extra pressure, looking at Condemn, and we've seen Zombie Wall. We've seen some good Zombie Walls. We've seen some really bad ones. Cloud9 hasn't really been using the Zombie Walls well. We saw 3 Zombie Walls getting turned off because it was being used on Tyrael, and that itself is not really the kind of play you want to see, but of course it's not really Nazeebo's fault. Tyrael's just all over the map in that last game there.
Sure, that's going to move us into the next ban phase. It's going to be Uther taken out for Kappa Wolves. We've seen that actually he's been picked up very early in the drafts. I'm noticing seems to be the top priority for the support picks, and that's going to follow up with a Leoric ban as well.
Well, Leoric, believe it or not, made it out, so maybe perhaps we're even seeing a shift in the power rankings. Abathur has really resurged back to that top pick status. Now Nazeebo is coming not only from 0 pick to second sequence, but now he's in the first sequence here as well. So we are possibly even watching the meta change right before our eyes. But Leoric out means Kappa Wolves, they got to figure out what kind of warrior support they want to put up. And whatever they take, Panda Global is going to be forced into whatever's left over.
Sure. Yeah, I really like Kappa Wolves, what they set up so far. Abathur pick with Jaina gives them a lot of flexibility in terms of the heroic choice. They can go for the Evolved Monstrosity or the Ultimate Evolution. I think either are good choices on this battleground. They're going to lock in the Rhaegar. They've already panned out the Uther, so they're telling Panda Global, you have to pick Malfurion unless there's some reason that they feel that Lily is strong. All the playable support for sure, but we don't see her very much.
No. I think Malfurion on the side of Panda Global is not that bad, but hold that top. Muradin coming out. Muradin is definitely a strong one for this map. You're looking looking at Sky Temple. Muradin has got extra jump potential. Jaina's also gonna be able to follow up really well with Blizzard, Cone of Coal, and those skill shots could be really important. But Malfurion, yes, for Panda Global, and this is the reason why. Entangling Roots with that zombie wall. That's gonna be really awesome for Lockdown.
Yeah, it could also go very well into the not only the Void Prison, but the Condemn, Shield Bash. I mean, there's a lot of crowd control and zone control available here to Panda Global. They just need someone to finish off this draft. And Nazeebo's really the only range they got. And okay, well, Tesla technically a range, not quite the damage here I was expecting. But now that we have a Malfurion and that half-supported Tassadar, you're probably going to see a bit more of a brawly bruiser-style Tassadar.
That's interesting, the Tassadar pick. Do you think that's a denial?
Reveal?
Because Zeratul, yeah, so there's a potential for that as well, but it's also a strong pick against Zeratul if you're trying to keep that pressure out of the back lane. Having that extra vision can be valuable, and maybe was something that Kappa Wolves was looking to grab as their final pick. So maybe a great deny from Panda Global.
Well, I've said double warriors for Kappa in the past, and then somebody actually took a Tassadar instead of a warrior, and it worked out actually pretty good in the end of it all. But whoop, all right, Jeriel. We saw a really good King Caffeine Tyrael in the last round.
Yes, we did.
Kappa Wolves perhaps going to be channeling that Babel, but we've actually been seeing a lot of Tyrael throughout a lot of the regions, haven't we?
Yeah, Tyrael's really, really important. I think the Korean meta as well. Last night here is almost always first picked. And here in the NA, also, you start to see a little bit of shift in the meta, and the prioritization on Tyrael is real. Kubi, what do you think about Tyrael getting picked up there?
So it's an interesting pick because it would sort of imply some kind of an aggression. Do you think that with Jaina, Abathur, do they have enough pressure to follow up on the judgments that we're very likely to see?
Well, we can hope, because so far every time I've called, I think, for the Jaina Abathur, it's just almost never happens.
All right, we also have the game ready. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first game between Kappa Wolves against Panda Global. And it's going to be at Sky Temple, like we said before. The battleground has been decided. Kappa Wolves will be on the blue side of this fight here. And Big Impact will be playing as Jaina. We got Akaface on Rhaegar. Hocfoo playing as the Abathur. And Michaeludall playing as the Muradin. Last but not least, YELKAO will be playing as your Tyrael.
Now, remember, this is the lower bracket now, ladies and gentlemen. So this is do or die time. Putting up the first game is going to be critical. And Panda Global, they faced a 0-2 loss, just like Kappa Wolves did. So LexUther on the Malfurion. We got the Tassadar, we got Johanna, Nazeebo, and of course our Zeratul there as well. These guys are really getting into it at that eye, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and the introduction already underway. You can see a lot of skill shots being fired from both sides. But if you look at the talent Chester, it's pretty standard. But Abathur going for a split push build again, are we?
Yep, it's a big battleground, Mr. Babel. So Envenom nests are likely to see more and more of those toxic nests into the range for the Locust. And Brood, who knows, maybe even Locust nest by the end of it as well.
And taking a page out of, I think, Caffeine's book right there. Horrific Reforging coming in.
Yeah,
it's going to be pretty awesome as well. If you look at the lanes, however, it is pretty clear to see that we've got at the bottom lane Tyrael against Tassadar with the help of Abathur. And for the mid lane, we got that Johanna here as well as Muradin, and it looks to be pretty okay. But Johanna will be able to win this lane easily because of the Knight Takes Pawn.
But we also have, Abathur hats that you got to keep in mind. Michaeludall did actually deal a significant amount of damage there to Johanna. So yes, a little bit of a wet noodle fight there mid. Tassadar should actually be really holding its own into the bottom. And, well, they're going to go for YELKAO a bit early, but I think they're just trying to force out a sip at the Sippy Cup at this round. But Zeus and crew, they should actually be now going up to this mid because that should be their priority.
Yes, and if you look at the temples, they're just nicely activating right now. And you don't see Tassadar rotating off the lane, so that means that the rest of the four members will be able to put forth some form of pressure at the mid temple. Zeus against Muradin. Muradin's not the easiest target to take down, and Zeratul has to pull right back.
Yeah, especially with that Abathur hat. So between the Jaina, the double warrior, this should actually go over to Panda Global, but still, that's going to be a good roots. We got that hat on top of Michaeludall, and you see the Carapace already being popped out. YELKAO just barely not going to be able to get hit by that mercenary captain, but at the same time, it's a little bit of a dicey because both temples right now are going to go over to the Kappa Wolves.
Wow, and a zombie wall will connect with the temple guardian inside. Rhaegar's going down. What an epic play. We've talked about bad walls and good wall. That's a really awesome wall.
I got my colors backwards. I do apologize about that, ladies and gentlemen. But as we go into it, level 4s, Panda, Kappa, still these temples, they're still kind of going to be the big focus. We don't have Tyrael in the bottom lane. It's actually going to be the Abathur down there, and the Tassadar has been pushing really hard down there.
Yes, and top temple now firing in the direction against Kappa Wolves. We've got Panda Global securing some very, very good advantage in the early game. In fact, almost half a level lead, extending to one full level real soon. Kappa Wolves, they have to make sure something is done about it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So coming in level 4 talents, we do once more see Muradin on those Sledgehammer builds.
Oh yeah, and Perfect Storm also charging up, which is why he had to connect the Stumble there. It works out really well. If we can actually pull up Muradin's, stack on the Stumble, it will be nice to see. We've also got level 6 on Panda Global. They are still slightly ahead, but Kappa Wolves, because of the ability to clear the minion wave at the top lane, they were able to come back into this game.
We do got mental acuity for Barcode. So the Barcode, like, he's on the side of Zeratul, but they're really going for that vision control. They want to make sure that they can control a lot of the space for these team fights as they go later and later into the match. So the mental acuity as well, I mean, at the level 4, they're not going to go for the deep shift. So a little bit later on, I'm curious to see if it still will be the Prussians in Dimensional going into it.
Yeah, seems to be pretty good as well. Vision is the name of this game. You have got no Zagara here, so it's really important to have that mental equity. It kind of helps really well. And a mill for Malfurion.
Well, we knew somebody was going to grab it, but at this point, it looks like Malfurion has taken the lead in terms of that. Now, at the same time, Abathur, it's very likely we're going to see it there as well. Level 7's just popped. They're all picking it out. It will be the mule there, so we do got it for both sides. It's not going to be Cleanse. It will be Earth Shield for Rhaegar.
Earth Shield's pretty good. I mean, Cleanse has been changed completely. It's just not the same.
I like what these guys are doing right here.
That's going to be pretty good. Yeah, they're just waiting for the bottom temple to be activated before they go in, and that they took a little bit of time with the top temple, which is why the spawning time here for the bottom temple is kind of pushed back by a little bit. But here we go, 15 seconds, and just nicely Zeratul will cap the Bruiser Camp.
Get been into effect there for Evandrinde there as well, so he has a little bit extra range on those abilities. The bottom temple is about to spawn, and in terms of positioning, it's kind of up in the air. It looks like everybody's going to be coming down, of course, except that Abathur, who's going to be taking care of the top push, very likely. But when it comes to push comes to shove, we have a little slight edge for the Panda Global as they got level 8, and they're very close to the level 9.
And a team fight happening right now. Zeus just jump in, but a stumble connects on both the Zeratul as well as Johanna, and here goes the extra zombie wall on YELKAO, but he's going to be okay. And both sides pull right back. Top lane, Abathur with the Bruiser Camp of his own is going to maintain the pressure here, and we've seen this before. That's it. Zeus now in some trouble, pulling right back. Barcode also needs to pop the dimensional shift. Daihuu is in front, trying to hold the area here, but he is not able to stand much longer. There goes the extra kill from LexUther, and it's going to be just enough. Zeratul is hiding in the shrubs there, and oh my god, he gets spotted out quickly. There goes the cleave. Michaeludall pulling back, realizes he's completely out of position. Here comes the rest of the gang, but a nice off toss is going to keep him safe. Big impact, meanwhile, getting walled in by the zombie wall, but still no takedown yet.
Yeah, it's really hard to try to chew through these double warriors so far, and the Malfurion is really just doing a good job with the sustain heals. So we actually are going to wrestle control for Panda Global. They're going to get the rest of those shots, and that will put them in the lead for that level 10. The longer that this went on, the better it was going to be looking for Panda Global, but now they have to go deal with that top lane. It absolutely got decimated by the Abathur, and that's the only kind of split pressure we got right now.
Yes, and Panda Global just took out a fort at the bottom lane as well, so there's very, very good rotations coming in from them. They just have to address the Bruiser Camp at the top lane, and those Knights will be able to do a lot of damage if they are just left alone. Here we have also some form of rotation. They just cleared a minion wave in the mid lane, and a random Tyrael appears on the map. Doesn't matter.
Random Tyrael just randomly showing up. So level 10s, it's not going to be the Ravenous. We do got that Gargantuan this time, so you might actually see that Jester lookalike, Mr. Babel.
Yeah, damn. I actually prefer to see Ravenous Spirit. I think that that's really good to see as well. Ravenous Spirit provides so much more damage. The Gargantuan, unfortunately, not able to do a lot of damage. He's just really just holding the front with Johanna there. And this is actually seeing some popularity here today. You seem to have one solo warrior and Gargantuan to just nicely follow up with some form of defense to protect the backline.
Well, it's, the solo warrior Johanna also has her trusty Tassadar up at that front line. Of course, Zeratul's going to be darting in and out as well. It's a heck of a front line, tell you that. And Panda Global, it looks like they are going to be able to defend out bottom. Abathur gets caught top. Johanna took a visit down to Slug Lane and was able to seal the deal.
Yes, Slug Lane it is. Daihuu doing a really good job there. Now it seems like Johanna's going to be able to just push this area really well, but that's it. Hold that, Todd. We got Abathur coming in. There goes the Ancestral Killing. It should be in time. The whole team is in position. There goes Judgment quickly, but Tranquility being popped already. Nazebo needs to pull right back. It may not be enough, and Evan is going to take the fall here. 3 members still in this vicinity. There goes the Rock of the Archangel, but it's not able to take enough damage quickly. Hocfoo goes down as well, and that is the Abathur clone. Michaeludall have to pull right back. The rest of Panda Global giving chase. Stumble connecting on 2 targets, but can the Sammuel help here from Abathur keep Muradin alive?
and that's why you can't actually go Ravenous on this one. The Judgment just sets up too good. Zeus with that setup there as well. Blink forward. The auto attacks coming out not only from Focus, but the follow through as well. Takes down the Mirrodin there, so not exactly the clean escape. But going back to the point, Mr. Babel, that's why you can't do the Ravenous on this one. You need to have the fire and forget. You need to stay as mobile as you can, because Judgment and Dwarf Toss is going to have his number all game.
I think the main reason why Tier is being prioritized is because of Judgment on Nazeebo.
Yep, it was the old counter. It's totally still a good one these days, but that's what, you know, that age of where we only went Ravenous, we only took Tyrael to do that is kind of coming past. The Gargantuan play is almost norm, I want to say, at least before this patch.
Completely normal as well. Blizzard doing some damage against Johanna, and you can also see the shield glare coming right out. The whole team pulling right back, but Kappa Wolves, they will have the bottom temple, and that's really important. Hocfoo is on a really low timer right now. He's going to expire, and he just
that's a clone.
Disappears.
Yeah, not so exciting once you realize that it's actually a clone, but still, bottom, all the bottom shots, I think, went to blue. Did they leave a few off there?
I think so, actually.
Well, they did. Well, more than a little under half. But still, I mean, hey, they got enough shots out of it. They did take down one fort, and they did actually bring all of Panda Global into the bottom. So you see Tyrael, he's making his way into the top. We do got the level 13 advantage for Pandas, though. And YELKAO, he's just going to try to take as many shots as he can. If he can get that fort, one step closer to the 13 talents.
I really like this. Double ice block on both Nazeebo as well as Malfurion, and you also see Prescience coming in for Tassadar. Johanna has got the Burning Ridge. That's going to really help in terms of damage. They know that they have to hold the ground. Zeratul also with the wormhole. He's going to be able to poke a lot more now.
All right, so pop out the Mental Acuity, Prescience into the backline, Archon, or not Prescience, Dimensional Shift into the backline, Prescience, use that as your escape. Could be good things here for Barcode.
Oh my god! Void Prison connecting, and it's not enough. That's it. Jaina is going to take the fall here. Michaeludall also in front with the stumble on 2 targets, but Daihuu wants a little bit more. 5 members getting healed up by the Tranquility. That's really important. Michaeludall stays alive. He does have second win. He's going to be okay, but top fort will go down.
Now, I might actually need to get my eyes checked, but was that a misclick on the Ancestral?
I didn't really catch that actually, but I think that the Ancestral was pretty okay to a certain extent. Unfortunately, it just didn't really work out for Kappa Wolves.
Either I didn't see the Rhaegar's hit points, or he actually Ancestral himself and he didn't heal one of the warriors. That's why we had like the huge disengage where there's like, whoops, all right, and they're out. So I mean, either way, the Ancestral was used and the retreat was sounded. The fort went down. Capturing the temples is still a big objective here, but now with that level 13 advantage, they took not only the fort, but level 14. Now they're very close to 16 on top of that as well. Panda Global is just looking phenomenal.
They're completely ahead of this game right now. If you look at Kappa Wolves, they also have the improved ice block as well as Thunder Strike. So that's going to be very important because it does 300% to a single target. And Imposing Will be coming out here for Tyrael. Yep. So that is going to help against Zeratul, but it's not going to have an effect on his teammates.
Zeratul. And there's really kind of the only big one right there. Nazeebo maybe a little bit, but we don't really see specialized toxin anymore out of him. It's mostly about the spiders, but still, I mean, attack rate is attack rate.
And here comes the zombie wall. May not be good enough. There goes the Ancestral healing. YELKAO is back in this game. Daihuu now dropping really low. Michaeludall waiting for the stumble to be off cooldown. And it's not even needed, but Johanna is going to take the full Barcode now. Pulling back quickly with Dimensional Shift. And the Water Elemental somehow bypasses the Void Prison.
He's apparently just immune to the laws of physics, and I mean, he is a walking snowman after all. But still, I mean, that snowman wasn't going to be the end-all to the fight, but as soon as the Void Prism was used defensively, as soon as he used that Johanna, they were really trying to make sure that Daihuu could actually survive through that one, but as soon as it was very evident that they couldn't, they needed to buy time, and it's a good disengage. Pandas will live to fight another day, but they will sacrifice their fort for it.
So here we have a full-on survivability build here for Tassadar, and also mid-lane attempt. The Mule is going to come out quickly, and it's also going to go out quickly. Nice Blizzard there by bigempct.
Muled up, muled down. All right, on to the next one. So, Kappa Wolves, I mean, they're still behind in experience, but they got a little bit of momentum now going for them. It's not like we can go grab a boss because of it or anything, but even with the split pushing of YELKAO, who did actually go into the range Locust, and now next level very likely with the Locust Nest, that still hasn't been enough. They're basically just keeping their lanes pushed, but they're not really pushing in. So that's big credit there to Panda Global. They've been able to go from lane to lane to lane and make sure that they keep up that aggression, which lets them focus on these team fights. It's not like last round where the YELKAO kind of got pushing out of control and was able to take so many objectives for free.
Yeah, and we have also Kamurdin, meanwhile, trying to chip off the HP at the mid fort. Well, Zeus also jumping in to do some form of damage. Unfortunately, he's aimed in the right direction, but 2 targets are there, so he's going to be able to heal up quite well. And there goes the shield. Mule again being called out here. The temple at the mid is going to be contested. There goes the Condemn, connecting on 2 targets. Ancestral healing will save Michaeludall, but YELKAO doing a pretty good job against Johanna. The whole team pulling right back. Both sides now maintaining aggression at this mid temple.
But we don't have the level 16s. For the Kappa Wolves. They have to pull back. They're not willing to lose a fight this close to getting that talent tier. So they did get their shots, and the mission was accomplished.
And Zeratul with the Void Prison against Jaina. Jaina is going to be okay. Zeratul gets punished really hard. There goes the Judgment, but the Ice Block is going to keep Nazeebo safe. YELKAO wants to apply more pressure. Hocfoo cloning a second Jaina. Here comes the Dimensional Shield. Barcode is going to relocate. He's going to be okay. Daihuu will also be the knockoff Hocfoo, so that's going to be all right as well. Michaeludall wants to look for a little bit extra stun on the Nazeebo. Nazeebo gets locked down. There goes the Blizzard, some form of damage as well. Big impact. Now going to try and pop the Ice Block. He should be okay, but no. We still have Johanna knocking on the Jaina. Jaina will go down, and now Tyrell scoots up to safety. He's going to be all right. The boss, however, gets activated, and this could be nightmare, but it's not. So 3 members alive on both sides.
Just so low on the hit points from both sides. Kappa was really treading the line very finely right there, and they were able to get their takedowns. They were able to hit 16, which was a huge boon in these team fights. But now that they're down so many teammates and so much hit points, they don't have the map presence to contest the rest of this tempo, and it will go straight over there to Panda Global. Now before this, you saw so much effort trying to keep out that fort in the mid. They had the shields, the mule, 2 mules even dedicated to it, but because of right at the beginning we took so many shots, that mid fort actually did drop. And as you can see, it's actually now gone. So as I said, mission accomplished for the Kappa Wolves, and they were able to take a pretty good fight, but they need a little bit more oomph in order to start turning this around.
Yes, they are currently 1.5 level down. All they need to do here is just to soak the lanes really well. Evandrinde is playing very, very safe. It's very different from what we saw in the game just now, where you have Evandrinde playing very aggressively and just going there to soak 2 lanes. Here, he's not doing the same. He's just playing safe, hiding in the top lane, doing a pretty good job there. And if you look at Panda Global, they're also rotating a little bit to this area with the Siege Giants. And it could be a fight here. YELKAO trying to force them, and he is just zoning in the back lines. We got Condemn connecting on both the Warriors, but there goes the Void Prison, and now Tyrell also goes into the Void Prison. It is not going to be enough, and we still have Jaina doing a pretty good job, and Ancestral Healing keeps Tyrell up alive, and we still see Judgment knocking on the Nazeebo. There goes the Zombie Wall. It's not going to be a potential takedown just yet. Johanna healing up quite a fair bit from Tranquility. It's just keeping the whole team alive. There goes the Shield Glare, and also the Entangler is coming back up, but there is still no takedowns after the last one there.
Wow, those tidal waves are really paying off for the Rehgar heals. Just tons and tons of heals bouncing around. It kept YELKAO from the edge of death so many times. The Carapace coming into that as well. And would you believe that the teams just bounce off each other? And there's no takedowns either side, but they did, from Kappa Wolves, take out those Giants. So again, like small victories. They're holding their own, but again, we're looking for that little extra oomph from the Kappa in order to start turning this game to them.
And Panda Global also took out the Evandrinde clone
very quickly.
A lot of resources were being invested to just take down that the fake Jaina. Yep. But in that instance, per se, we're now looking at Kappa was still 1 full level down. They haven't really equalized here. They have to make sure that they come out of team fights winning, and it's really just about securing the backline. They only have 1 Jaina for damage, and if the clone goes down, Jaina by herself is gonna have the heavy duty here of lifting the entire team in terms of just knocking all of those damages. Look at this. Actually, Dimensional Shift going to be used by Barcode. Tesla's just not going to go down.
Yeah, even if they did drop him low, he still has Impressions ready to go, and he does have the Dimensional, so he heals through it anyway, so the double heals, yeah, it just wasn't meant to be. But Kappa Wolves, they need to make something happen in the next half level, because we will have 20 for Panda Global by the end of this, and they can't really fight to that, and they do not want to let up any kind of pressure, so they need to get as much done as they can before that 20 mark.
Right, and Michaeludall now trying to pull right back at the bottom lane. Top Temple will go to Nazeebo. And we still have the Water Elemental, rather Frosty the Snowman, just throwing snowballs at people's faces.
Yeah, that Winter Veil skin is just absolutely crazy. It's almost like I never see anything else out of Jaina's. Really do like the skin work here from Blizzard and Heroes of the Storm art crew. It's just absolutely insane. But now here it is, the level 20 mark, Panda Global. What happens immediately? Kappa Wolves, they retreat. They cannot fight this out, but they are 19. It's not going to be too long until they get it, especially since Panda Global is going to be pushing in. So a lot of experience is going to come their way, but still, you don't win by only playing defense.
I'm rooting for Kappa Wolves. I mean, you look at Hocfoo, he's got a Skeletor, Abathur skin, and that's really, really good looking. He turns into one big skull when he uses symbiote, and that's really cool.
Yep,
and here
Halloween
we got
skin.
yeah, I mean, it looks really awesome. And Panda Global just taking out the Bruiser camp here.
Yep.
So here we have some top lane aggression. They're already level 20. It's going to be Bolt the Storm, Archon, buff up, as well as a little bit of help from the Indestructible on Johanna. You also see Rewind on Zeratul, so that means that it's going to be 4 bombs, as well as Storm Shield coming right up.
Panda Global is basically abusing their advantage as much as they can. Big roots going down. There's the VP. Panda's just going to go all in on this one. The Dwarf is in the middle of the Void Prison, and he will get to safety. He has that avatar popped out, but it's not going to be enough. He is going to drop, and there goes the clone on the back of it, and the keep. This actually could be game.
This could be. There's just simply not enough damage coming from Kappa Wolves. They're still 1 level down, or rather half a level away from those Storm talents that they really need right now. Zeus getting Judgment, and Zeratul has to pull right back, but there goes the Storm Shield buying more time. Zeratul is gone, but Daihuu is still up here, and they still have a lot of damage in the form of that Tassadar, and there goes the Ice Block up on Malfurion. He's going to try and buy some time, or rather Evan, the Nazebos with the Ice Block, and there goes the Zombie Wall. We still want a little bit more. The core down to 30%, and there goes the root up quickly on the Malfurion. It could be core.
20,
we still got the
15,
Avatar up here, and Daihuu
10,
with the Black Shield. It may not be enough. There goes the Indestructible. Barcode. He has got so much damage. The Mill is not going to save the day. And game 1 will go to Panda Global.
They did it. Skin of their teeth, and the Indestructible and the Manor Mule on top of it as well. Panda Global seeing an opportunity to end the game, and they took it right there at the 19-minute mark. They used their level 20 to get not only the Bruisers push in for the keep, but then by the end of it, just that death push, it was close by the end, but that Indestructible, that was more than enough, I think, right there in order to make that happen.
That was a really awesome finish to the game there. Kubi, what went on?
I can't stress enough how good the Void Prisons were. They were doing an excellent job sort of isolating targets through very good zoning control, and that's exactly what this replay is going to be all about. So let's head on over to that so I can highlight that for you guys. So what we have here is we're going to actually pause it right there. Okay, so what we're looking at is they've isolated their target. They're looking at Jaina. They say, this is really what we want to try to make sure we can take out of this fight. We put up this really, really, really good Void Prison at this point. We want to make sure that we can zone out this control. Okay, so, and then on top of that, they also have the root in this area as well. So they have basically put up a giant wall, and they said, you cannot get out of this area unless you want to go into the Void Prison. If you're going to do that, then you're facing up against maybe an Archon, something to that effect. So let's go ahead and play that through, see exactly what happens. Oh, excuse me, I will play it right there. And you can see Jaina is left with this choice. What do I do? Do I try to walk all the way around to get out? No, I have to go back into the Void Prison. We saw so many plays like that that really let them move forward. We saw a whiffed Ancestral Healing really sort of put the team on the back foot. Kappa Wolves, I mean. And it just, a lot of those plays ended up happening all throughout that game. So very, very, very good Void Prison.
So I was right on that one. It was a whiffed Ancestral?
Yeah,
my eyes do not deceive.
Great job spotting Ancestral Healings. And that was a really awesome first game. I think Panda Global had it really well planned. Like what you said, Kubi, those Void Prisons were completely on point. And it's just so beautiful to see that the fight's getting segmented into 2 areas. And that's really the problem there for Kappa Wolves.
Yeah, anytime your damage dealer really gets isolated like that and you have no options, never a spot your team wants to be in. And just a very, very good job on Panda Global to force those situations and also capitalize on them.
So right now the score is 1-0 in favor for Panda Global. And for more information on this tournament circuit, do check out heroesofthestorm.com/esports. We have the next game coming right up. But before that, we actually ask a lot of people about favorite heroes. What's your favorite hero?
Falstad. No, Sergeant Hammer. No, Zagara. I don't. They're all.
You decide.
They're all my favorite. They're all my
your favorite. If you have to pick one,
Sergeant Hammer.
Sergeant Hammer.
What?
What about you?
How are you going to take my hero? It's definitely
What do you
Sergeant
mean
Hammer.
your hero?
Yes, my hero, because Sergeant Hammer is my girl, and they just buffed her in this last patch, so I'm really, really excited to see hopefully some play.
I'm really glad you're here, Babel. I'm really glad
passionate.
you're here, because you're keeping me from this guy right now. Yeah.
I want to see Sergeant Hammer, but my favorite hero is Tyrell. We've asked a lot of players as well what are their favorite heroes, and here's what they have to say.
Some of my favorite heroes include Zeratul and also Abathur.
My favorite heroes are Lily and Brightwing, even though right now they're arguably the weakest.
Sergeant Hammer is my favorite hero.
Or like Lost Vikings, Zagara.
I'd say at the moment Chen, Nubarak, and Diablo.
Brawl, even though he's not really in the meta, so I don't get to play him that much.
I just like
any high amount of mobility and high healing character.
Kael'thas,
Tyrande.
My favorite heroes at the moment, Sergeant Hammer and KT.
My favorite heroes would definitely be Zeratul.
Zeratul, who's obviously the most banned out champion at this moment.
Jaina, Kerrigan.
Kazarum.
My favorite heroes though are Kael'thas and Vala, just because they're really fun to play.
I would say my favorite one to play right now is probably Uther. All of his abilities feel really impactful, and you feel like you can make a big difference depending on the timing and positioning of your plays.
I get my fresh air, I get my coffee, I get caffeinated, and then I'm ready for the big games.
For big matches, I like to drink coffee.
Just all get in a Skype call as a team. I make sure to have a coffee.
I like to drink lots of water.
I try to go for a 10 to 15 minute run, just get the blood flowing, then I come home and I always make eggs.
I have this weird thing where I really don't like playing tournaments without shoes on.
I like to make sure my hands stay warm. But I listen to Kesha before every tournament game.
I listen to a lot of EDM before my matches.
Yeah, I listen to music.
We'll have one person pick out a song. We'll all listen to it, sing along if we can, and just try to get as pumped up as possible.
Pump up speeches. We'll kind of have a team talk.
I like to listen to music. I know Timmy loves listening to Kesha every time.
I'll listen to the same 4 songs on repeat.
No big rituals.
There's no real rain dance or anything.
I don't really have any tricks or techniques. I just naturally am ready to go in there and do it.
Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen to the second game here between Kappa Wolves and Panda Global. I am Babel. Join me today is Sean Jester Delaney, is it correct?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Wow, you have a mouthful for us. It is tricky.
It's your first time.
Yeah, well, I'm Asian. I'm forgiven.
You've always just called me forecourt Jester until now.
Yeah, well, I tried to be proper with you, and this is what I get. All right, Jester here. Yeah. With me also is Corey Kubi Hover.
Got it. First
Nailed
time.
it.
See, look at this.
Means nothing.
Easier.
Means nothing.
But here we have also a lot of a very, very good day here. And if you have joined us since the beginning of the day, you should be able to see a lot of good games along the way. I'm really pumped up and I'm very happy to be here. And we also have competition overview right now across all of the way. Let's take a look at how it has been sizing up. We started with open tournaments and we're now also going into the America Championship, of which you're going to see top 8 teams going in. And we've seen 3 teams coming in from the NA already. That is Tempo Storm, Cloud9, as well as Cognitive. We're looking for 2 more this weekend, and they will all go to World Championship. 2 teams actually will go to World Championship.
Yes, but before that, we have the Americas Championship, which is where these teams are really fighting to get to next. We have the 1 team from Southeast Asia, Babel, yes. Right. Latin America and Australia and New Zealand are also going to be representing, along with the 5 teams that we have been crowning throughout these open events. The final 2 teams will be decided here today.
And then, of course, coming up, Las Vegas here in September. Only 2 teams from America of our 8 can actually go to join the global circuit. Korea sending a team. Europe, of course, with 2. Our 2 here from Americas to be determined soon. And then, of course, China and Taiwan. All of those guys are going to be out at BlizzCon, which means that you guys should have hopefully bought your ticket because that is an absolutely insane bracket.
It will be, and I'm really pumped that we're looking at 8 of the best teams in the world playing at BlizzCon this year. Also, do show your support for your teams here using the hashtag HeroesWC, and you could also either support Kappos with the hashtag or Panda Global.
That's right, but we really need to talk about our sponsors, the people that have brought all of this action to you guys today. Heroes of the Storm North America Road to BlizzCon is brought to you by our hardware partners, Gigabyte and NVIDIA. Much kudos to those guys.
Yeah, they're pretty much just straight up awesome. I mean, not only are we giving away cards, but we have these officials partners, and we can do tournaments like this. Couldn't have done it without them.
That's right.
Essential part of all of this tournament circuit, so thank you for being here as well. And we've got a draft underway for game number 2, so let's get on to it.
All right, so if you guys remember, Panda Global is up 1-0, and it looks like the choice is going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Question is, do we get that secret strategy yet, Jester?
Well, I haven't seen it yet. So maybe the patch just said that the secret strategy from Panda Global just isn't going to work anymore. Keep my eyes out. As soon as I see it, I'll let you guys know. But so far, I just have not seen it come together.
Battleground is going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen. We see Kael'thas taken out of the rotation first for Kappa Wolves, followed up with a ban on Zeratul from Panda Global.
Yeah, we haven't seen a
pretty standard ban, yeah.
Well, it's been, Zagara's it's been Kael'thas, it's been Leorix. We've had Zeratul slip through to second ban.
This is true. This is true.
Right.
And but I got to say, Zeratools have been the playmakers so far in these games. I'm seeing some fantastic Void Prisons being thrown out, just to zone control to get those kind of wombo combos together. So a very big threat. I can completely understand why they're taking that out.
Yes, and Kappa Wolves, instead of having the Zeratul, they'll go with Zagara. And for Panda Global, Leoric on this side. That's pretty good split of crowd control. You're looking at Entomb on Leoric, which is going to be pretty okay for this map. There's a lot of crooks and cranny and a lot of choke points. So Entomb is really going to be a huge asset to any team here. And Jaina to do a little bit extra damage.
Yes, always a great choice, especially when Kael'thas is taken out of this rotation. Jaina is easily one of the strongest, most bursty ranged assassins in the game. A very good asset to have for Panda Global. So their draft is shaping up very nicely. But what is Kappa Wolves going to respond with? We're going to see the Johanna, very early warrior pick, and followed up with, yes, it very well could be a very strong pick to go with Asmodan for the reason that Condemn is such a good wave clear ability, especially when you take that Knight Takes Pawn ability, does extra damage to minions, stuns them out, just sets up so well for those Global Annihilations on Asmodan. The Blessed Shield, everything about Johanna just screams control, which is something that Asmodan would always love to have on the team.
Well, I think this is a third time now going into this battleground. We haven't seen an Asmo as of yet. We've seen an Asmo ban, but no picks. And if I have to actually guess, Kappa Wolves is probably going to put support here to go, because that way they have basically the Trinity now settled up. They got themselves a frontliner, they got the Zagara for the backline, and then they'd have their support, which means they can just flesh out after this. They could also be baiting out an Asmodan ban, which again could just be going back to mind games. Do they want to run it? Are they threatening it? If they do actually get it, will they choose it? There's a lot of different things going through Panda's mind right now.
It is a specialist meta, actually, if you look at it. We've got Nazeebo, Zagara. If Asmodan flows through the bans here, it's going to be very painful. They also banned out Kael'thas. So, hands down, Asmodan is going to have the absolute advantage in terms of having those range pokes, and it's really going to be painful. But Jaina also is a pretty good combo here with the Asmodan. Also Leoric, so those extra creep wave, or rather minion wave clearing mechanic will come into play.
So, no Abathur.
No Abathur thus far. It's a very good point to bring up, Jester. We haven't seen it yet. So there is the Asmodan ban. Panda Global worried about it. But I mean, Babel, you're right. It's still possible that Panda Global could have picked it up themselves. Why is Asmodan such a strong hero to take out in this situation? Both Leoric and Johanna are just too good at wave clear with this, and it's all about that globe of annihilation. If you take the taste for Blood Town at level 1, you can power it up by getting last hit on minions in the waves. A lot of teams have built strategies around getting that damage up very, very high so that their late game force is just uncomparable.
There's also some changes to Asmodan in terms of his talents. You're looking at a possible second General of Hell late game, and also some extra buffs to Demon Warrior. So that could be a possible split push strategy, but 3 specialists. We've only seen this once today. If this happens a second time, this could be validation that the meta has shifted.
Well, it did win.
Very, very good point. Right. So this will move us on to the second ban for Kappa Wolves. We're going to see Muradin taken out of the pool. They're worried about that double warrior composition from Panda Global. They already have their warrior locked in. Do you think this points towards them running triple ranged for Kappa Wolves?
Yeah, I would definitely lean more towards that. They got the double spec, and if it is going to be, an Asmodan or a Sylvanas, the only real other DPS at this point would be a Vala, or you have an Abathur for a duplicate out there. So Kappa Wolves definitely have a big range that they could actually go for. But Panda Global, I mean, they kind of need to put somebody else here with Jaina. If it's not going to be an Abathur, I would really expect kind of a Vala to come into this one.
You're right. I would really like Vala. There we go. You're on point. Vala is really good. Jaina also, you have 2 range assassins already in play. Malfear to keep up the sustain. It looks like a pretty good story. But what do you think Kappa was going to pick here?
Well, if it is going to be the triple range, like Mr. Kubi here is thinking, Asmodan would have been my pick, but of course he's just not there. It's not going to be a range, but it will be an assassin.
Queen.
There it is. Yeah, you're talking a lot about queens there, Babel. Okay, so we're going to see the Kerrigan for the last pick. They're feeling confident with the aggressive style play. There's a lot of follow-ups they could get with successful Primal Grasp into Impale. They have Uther to follow up with the Hammer of Justice, a Zombie Wall. Johanna can also get great pulls. So I think the synergy is there. Question is, do they have enough support? Is Kerrigan, so much of their composition is going to be riding on the success of Kerrigan with those combos.
So what, Kerrigan into Zombie Walls, Condemned?
There's so many options.
Yeah, there are options, but none of them seem very clear-cut. Like, you could Maw, you could Zombie Wall, which is a situation that has to hit. Could be Condemned, but she has to already be that that far forward because it's going to be a leap to initiate there from the Kerrigan. So, like, it looks good on paper, but it's going to come down to execution, I think.
I think the flexibility of it is really what I'm liking.
Right.
Any of those other heroes could walk up, be in that situation to help Kerrigan to follow up on that. And it's really, the only questionable one is Zagara, really, because you need the Maw past level 10. But otherwise, I think it's a very, very strong composition that they have drafted.
Okay.
I am actually scared right now because there is
team?
no answer from Panda Global if Nazeebo goes Ravenous Spirit.
Nope, that is true. Vala and Tassadar do not carry any range
anything.
CCs. Neither does the Orcs. So no, that's actually a very good point, people. So if we do see a Ravenous, you know, no Jester-like clones, but at the same time, still the positioning. This is a really good map for that kind of positioning. There's a lot of nooks and crannies. There's a lot of spaces that you can hide in the smoke. The throw pit, we saw this once already. Just so many walls that you can be hiding behind. So I think that's absolutely could be happening.
Yeah, it will be really awesome to see. Could be.
All right, so hold on a second. Jester, we know that Hocfoo has really made a name for himself with the hammer. And the fact that they haven't picked hammer thus far, what do you think? We saw a lot of hammer
Are you
buffs.
crushing my hope just like Leoric?
I know. Well, hey, I want to see it just as much as you do. But do you think that hammer could be in this meta as we go forward?
I'm holding out hope that by the end of it all, we will see a hammer, but I'm not entirely too sure you'll see it when your life is on the line, because this is the loser's bracket. Whoever does actually go out of this one, it's done. That's the dream, and it's over. And that's sad. So I don't think you can put hammer to it quite yet.
They could actually be out of the tournament. Kappa Wolves could be at this point. If they fall to Panda Global in this second game, they're done. That means that their dreams for going to BlizzCon are done. And if they were saving any kind of strategies moving forward, something weird to throw the other team off, we needed to see it in this draft. Did we see enough of a change in what they have drafted thus far moving into game number 2?
Oh, we'll find out.
Well, I don't think so, actually. I think that you've got Ravenous Spirit pretty good, but I really like the hammer idea, and it's really awesome, and we've seen some good hammer games last night at the current meta. That's like kind of indication of things that happen here. But unfortunately, it's just not the case, and maybe teams are just keeping it up their sleeves, and we'll see how that's going to work out.
That's very
I was
true.
about to ask you just now, which team comm do you favor?
Oh, I definitely favor Kappa Wolves for sure. I just like the team as well, but anytime Kerrigan is picked, especially if you have built around that composition and are able to sneak it in for that last pick, I love it. And I think we're going to see some very aggressive play. Always really exciting to watch.
Yeah, it should be actually Michaeludall on that Kerrigan. He is really known for his aggression. So, yeah, we'll see on the other side there, Mr. Kubi, because I think that the Pandas got this 2-0, but we'll reconvene afterwards. Who's on the left-hand side here, Mr. Babel?
Wow, Kappa Wolves going to be here. Big impact. We'll be playing as a Nazeebo, aka phase onto that Uther. We also got Zagara being played by Hocfoo. Michaeludall playing as the Kerrigan. Last but not least, YELKAO will be your Johanna.
And they are off to the races as the gates do fall. But Panda Global up 1-0 right now. LexUther on that Malfurion. Absolutely adore him on that one. Barcode once more to Tassadar. Daihuu on the Leoric. Evandrinde is returning to Vala. And that leaves us with Zeus once more on his favorite Ice Queen, the Jaina.
It is going to be interesting. This map, or rather, it's going to be about a lot of rotation and movement. And we've got Kerrigan on the side of Kappa Wolves. You're looking at a lot of good positioning coming in. You're looking at some pretty good movements and rotations to be played out here. But on the side of Panda Global, do they have enough to hold off the aggression? I do think so as well.
All right, Tassadar is going to go for some mana return there for his Psystorm. Sharpened Blades coming in there for the Kerrigans. She is looking for that aggression, that big damage numbers. Already you can see Reconstitution there as well, the Death Ritual, and everything looks pretty much kosher from their Moonburn for our Malfurion.
Yes, and it's pretty interesting to see Moonburn actually coming into this play here.
We do actually see it quite a bit here on NA. We don't really seem to favor Scouting Drone, for example, anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, but Vision's important in this map, and Malfurion's on the side where they don't really have anything to work on.
They got Tassadar.
It's going to be pretty interesting. Yes, they have Tassadar, but you really don't want to rely just on one Tassadar. But still, then again, at the end of the day, it's going to be up to rotation. As you can see here, Kappa Wolves is going to look for a jump on Zeus. Zeus with a bit of a sidestep, but it's not going to be now. There goes the Impaling Blade, and Jaina is down for the takedown.
Did you see that patience right there? Michaeludall jumped him and didn't use the combo. He jumped him and he waited for that stun to come in from his pal Uther, and then that combo went out, 0% chance of missing, and it does net them that quick early first takedown. And, you know, again, Michaeludall, very aggressive on this Kerrigan. He and Akaface, if they just keep roaming around, that's a heck of a 1-2 punch.
It is. So they started with some very good team-based rotations. 4 members top 4 members mid, and then it started to break around a little bit with having the Uther as well as Kerrigan roam, and that works pretty well. But here we have a lot of damage against those structures at the top lane, and here is Malfurion with Jaina swinging by just to keep up the aggression.
Yeah, they're going to be putting up that counter. Now, bottom lane, it is all about the top and mid. Bottom is Zagara versus Leoric. Very likely nothing huge is going to be happening down there unless we do have a visit, for example, from this Kerrigan. But on the side of Kerrigan, like too many more of these combos, especially if they keep missing, it's really going to start taxing the mana pool that Michaeludall does have. So he needs to really start making sure that these count. Otherwise, he's just going to have to frequently go back to either hit the fountain, hit this Hall of the Storms, and that means he's not going to be on the map.
Oh god, Leoric actually losing to Zagara in a 1v1 at the bottom lane, and that's going to be pretty tricky for him.
Too much of a surprise, to be honest.
Oh, but Jaina swings by. Could be a possible takedown there.
Yeah, the bottom lane is going to be a little bit of a party zone as Zeus with that wraparound. But look at Kappa Wolves. They immediately react. They come down. They're like, all right, you run up to us. We'll meet you in the middle. And wow, they could even take home LexUther. The body blocks from Michaeludall is starting to pay off. But nope, too slippery. Baby nut! They get him at the end of it. Malfurion's going to drop. And wow, Barcode too far, too forward. That's going to be 1-2. Does he have that sipping up? He does, but it's not enough. Tasser's going to drop. Low hit points now on Jaina. Oh my goodness, what is going on?
It is just Michaeludall on that Kerrigan. Just really very patient player, and he's just body blocking. He's not in a rush to land a combo. Most players on Kerrigan will actually do that, but he is different. He's just waiting on the right opportunity,
he made all
right
that
movement, and he made all of that happen. 3 takedowns instantaneously.
I really thought that Malfurion was actually just going to be able to slip away into the night, but wow. By the end of it, 4 takedowns, nil, a whole level between the teams, and now missing so many people here from Panda Global, it's really hard to kind of collect those gems. It's really hard to put up that experience, and well, the gems is going to be the big name of the game here, Babel.
It will be, and the score now 1-0 in favor for Panda Global, but like I said, this game may not necessarily be in their favor. If you check out the whole composition there, post-10, there is a revenue speed to worry about, and even pre-10, you got that Uther, Kerrigan, roam, and we've seen some good movements. I'm really confident with Kappa Wolves this game.
If you put any kind of crowd control with the Kerrigan early, it just makes it so much easier to combo down, especially if, especially at this level of play. A lot of people see Kerrigan, you immediately jump, you start crab walking, you just move off to the side, because that way, usually you see a combo, right? You jump, you combo, and if you crab walk out of it, it's not going to land. Michaeludall hasn't been doing that. He's just been jumping. They immediately crab walk, which is usually into an Uther stun, and then we throw out the combo, and it's been working out supremely well.
It is pretty awesome, actually. And I mean, so far, we've seen a lot of good Kerrigan plays. But this is by far, in my opinion, another level altogether.
Yep.
He has not really missed a single combo, per se.
He's missed 2 in the early, but then I called him out on it, and he seems to be doing all right since.
All right. Jester with the spot-on plays. They're really, really good. But what I mean to say is that at the end of the day, he is just an impact in this game.
Yep.
And Kerrigan is something that Panda Global has to worry about. They are not superior in rotation with this lineup here on your Panda Global composition. You have Vala there as well as Tassadar and Jaina as well. This is not really early game heroes if you look at it that way.
Yeah, but at the same time, you wouldn't expect like the Tassadar to go down this early. The Lord can just Wraithwalk unstoppable. But I also hear that we're actually going to take a quick look at that replay, for a replay, just that previous fight. Because, I mean, it started off innocently enough. I mean, look at right here. All right, fine. They find that Malfurion. And then the body blocks are really good. But then here's where I thought, okay, he's out scot-free. Bam, right there. Combo into everything else, Malfurion. And then, Barcode, he was trying to help out in the back. But no, that's not going to be near enough. That's an Envenom, plus the Envenom Spine's taken down. Doesn't hit the fountain early enough. And then Jaina, well, she has nothing left in the bank, and all of a sudden, 3 turnarounds, an entire level, and it all is on the back of that Kerrigan.
Yeah, really well done. I mean, Michaeludall actually ravaged behind on Tesla as well to apply some extra damage and that net the kill. And he's just all over the place. But we've seen some really good Kerrigan, I said before. And this one is on another level. But you also have to give credit to Uther. He's been holding up really well. Healing the Kerrigan and giving those holding light plays. It's really important. Also the flank there with the Light's Justice. Really good stuff.
Now, sometimes what we see is Kerrigan with Malfurion. And that way it's like a roots into a combo or a combo into a roots. That wouldn't worked with this. Sure, she'd have the mana because you'd probably just be chain innervating her at that point, but that wouldn't have worked because right now it's all the upfront stunt. Like, it's all about the Uther to combo with it. This is, it's pretty much a two-man team of Michaeludall as well as Akaface, and they've been involved in all the takedowns so far. They've been able to just make those plays happen, just like that last one, and it's really working out well for the team.
It is, and on the side of Panda Global, they do have some real good damage, but it is very, very tricky to really go to that level because they have to get those talents up first. And right now, if you check on the talent choices, it is only Heart and Bones for Leoric as well as a multi-shot on Vala. The build there is pretty standard and consistent. Yes, they can clear the lanes quite well, but if you want them to rotate, they don't have the setup for it.
Now, the multi-shot build is definitely more of a split pushing slash team fight, but not in a queue. Like the Hungering Arrows for somebody that overextends and you hit them, and that's great because we've seen actually that work many times so far. But the multi-shot's a little bit more of a throwback. It will hit a wider range of the opponent, especially when they clump up. And that's Johanna, that's Uther, that's Kerrigan. That's a big cone of damage you can actually do. And while we speak of Kappa Wolves, right now we actually have a little bit of a player spotlight because Hocfoo is playing this around as Zagar, and Zagar was into the bottom lane for a good bit of time, but then everybody came down. In fact, this all started when Zeus went to actually gank Hocfoo. But there he is right there in all of his glory. He's been playing out, and as we said a little bit before, Sergeant Hammer. I mean, it's just, what are the chances all three of us are Sergeant Hammer fans?
Yeah, well, I would love to see Sergeant Hammer. Like I said before, he is one of the better players in Sergeant Hammer. I do believe he picked him a lot. And now Sergeant Hammer has got a lot of rework going in. It's actually really just lowering the setup required for the Sage mode, and that really works out well. We've seen some really good talent builds up as well. You're looking at a potential pushback Hammer or right-click Hammer, both of which are pretty good. And we also have another player spotlight, by the way, Barcode from Panda Global. This is a player that we've seen play the Tesla just now, and he also is a Sergeant Hammer player. Guess
what can I say? Yeah, Sergeant Hammer is just our girl. I'm really hoping that we see a Sergeant Hammer this weekend, and I'm actually on the desk for it because I'm just going to be a giddy little jester after all that. But this guy's he's good with his hands as well. He's been welding since the age of 13, and Taekwondo on top of that. He's definitely a tough guy, and you got to be tough to play this game. Barcode, he's playing that Tassadar, and sure he might have a takedown so far, but one of the toughest heroes to take down overall.
Yeah, and it's a little bit unfortunate that he was not able to hold the front just now. It just went out at the end. The Envenom
overextended.
He overextended. He was trying to just help his teammate. But Barcode, man, I'm looking forward to the Sergeant Hammer now that he's a little bit different viable. Let's talk about Sergeant Hammer, Jester. What is it going to take to really pick the Sergeant Hammer? I know that you have to draft an entire team comp around Protect the Hammer. That's what we call Protect the Hammer comp.
Well, that will definitely give you the best result if you are kind of just doing as much PO as you can. When back in the day, she had a little bit extra range, she had a little bit extra health, but then we also didn't have Jaina, we didn't have Kael'thas. And these newer assassins, especially Kael'thas before the rework just at this last patch, his range is just absolutely absurd. Like that flamethrower, you can actually go toe-to-toe. Sergeant Hammer, even at her siege mode, couldn't actually hit a Kael'thas that was throwing a flamethrower at her. So it was kind of like you're very stationary on a game that promotes mobility, and your range is no longer king or queen in this case. So Jaina came in, she get Stormfront, she get Blizzard, Kael'thas came in, and even past that, I mean, we had so many range upgrades for some of the other heroes coming in. We nerfed her hit points, we nerfed her damage a little bit after it, and she just kind of quietly went into the night. Now she has more hit points, we've buffed her damage a little bit, but she's still fundamentally a little bit too immobile. And the other assassins didn't go anywhere, they're still here, and as you can see, I mean, there's still kind of the big bans, the big picks going on in those first sequences.
So it's going to be very tricky to play Protect the Hammer comp here. But we also have a potential player spotlight right now on Michaeludall. He is the Kerrigan player that we've seen play flawlessly so far. Of course, he's still human, right? He misses a few combos here and there, but he did a pretty good job.
You can tell that to his face when you see him.
All right, if I do interview him, if he do win here, we'll look at that. But here we have him playing actually Zeratul often, so he is a melee assassin player, just like Laurent.
Yeah, no, he definitely excels in that for his team. And if you don't know about Michaeludall, he actually made his kind of breakout back at Heroes of the Dorm. That goes all the way back to April, back when school was kind of still in session. Now, he didn't quite win here at the dorm, but he got to the top 2. That's something to say right there. There's 800 plus teams back then. He got all the way to the finals. He was basically the big Illidan player for the team because Illidan got swapped back and forth quite a bit. But coming into this, he has the best Hera NA, he has the best Kerrigan NA, and you know, he has a lot going for him in this round.
Yeah, he has, and we're also going to take a look at Panda Global's Daihuu. Daihuu is a player that is from Philadelphia, and he plays Chen a lot, but we don't see Chen these days.
No, Chen unfortunately is kind of also gone quietly into the night, especially after the triple Panda split. It used to be instantaneous, now there's a bit of a wind-up, and so much crowd control in a lot of these matches, it's hard to get it off pretty consistently.
I actually wanted to ask you about Panda Global's secret strategy.
It does not have to do with Chen.
Is it Chen? Is it the rolling barrier?
Yeah, we made that joke during the casting. It's just like, okay, there's Panda Global, and they run 0 pandas. And then game number 2, Panda Global, 0 pandas. And it went back and forth, but I never once saw a Chen, I'm sorry to say. That's not quite the super secret strategy.
No? Not on Daihuu?
No, long What?
Daihuu, the player that plays Chen just now. Yeah, I mean, we talked about him, and I would love to see Chen back in the meta. It's a possible play. It's just not popular until someone makes it popular.
It survived in EU for a good while of time, but when it comes to NA, it's we kind of do prefer our other warriors. Mirrodin's definitely a big one. Johanna, now we see a lot more Leoric into this as well. Who knows, where Artanis is going to fall, as he's going to be, down the line. But at this point, those top 3, we do see a lot of Tyrael. How many games of Tyrael? 2, 3, 4 so far?
Pretty much
this weekend. So yeah, we definitely have those bigger preferences. Because again, like mobility, there's also some funny business with Chen. Doesn't always quite land his kicks. He has to go back to the gym. So we're waiting for him to graduate with a black belt before he kind of comes back into our meta.
Correct. And Chen, of course, definitely very interesting pick there. If ever in game, that would be a very fun thing to see.
If ever. Yeah.
If ever.
You never know. The future is a funny thing, guys.
If you're looking at Protect the Hammer comp, I think Chen's going to be pretty okay. He will have the ability to wall out, a few, box out actually a few of these enemy heroes. And that's going to be pretty exciting and interesting to watch as well. But that said, Chen's not going to come back real soon. Stitches is interesting. We saw Scream before with Stitches, and we still haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, the change to Cleanse could really bring Stitches back, but at the same time, again, like all those warriors that I just listed out, how many slots of warriors could we actually fit into a game? The most I've ever seen is 6. That was Korea. But, Stitches by himself, he might come into it for a zoning control as a second or a third warrior, just looking to grab those picks, all because of his hook. His hook is his signature primary ability, and that's, it basically does exactly what it sounds like. It'll hook you in, and then from there, hopefully the team can collapse and get an advantage. Doesn't always work that way because Cleanse, pre-patch, you could pre-cleanse and then the hook would just kind of bounce off you. Can't do that anymore. So that's why we're really talking about bringing the Stitches back in with that hook, but we're waiting on it.
We're waiting on it, you're right. There's a lot of different heroes that I think will fill the Warrior spotlight, and all of which are pretty good, and they're just pretty awesome. The problem I have with Stitches is that ever since he removed the mini stun on Slam, he's just not really able to clear the wave well. He also doesn't have the utility. He was being picked up previously to counter Nazebo as well, because Nazebo is just all the way behind. You just look for Nazebo, you either give him a fishing hook, or you just quickly go in there with a Slam, and both of which are pretty awesome.
You talked about the Tyrael pick a little bit earlier, and how you judgment in and you blow up that Ravenous, but Hook was definitely a good choice back then as well. But now again, the Cleanse has changed. People are still learning the patch. It's coming into this. We got a new Battleground on the horizon. We got a ranged warrior on the horizon with Rexar as well. So you never really know where the meta's going to go. In fact, coming into this, wouldn't have said that Abathur was going to be a top pick, yet here we are.
Yeah, Abathur won games today. Really, really good games as well. And here we have with us a second game, but it's still on hold, and we're waiting for the game to go back into it. A little bit chat on the talent options here. It's a very standard Zagara. We saw that before. Uther going for Protective Shield. Do you think it's going to go for Cleanse?
So Cleanse in this case, because Uther, just as a reminder, he's up against Vala, Tassadar, Leoric, Jaina, Malfurion. None of them have any hard CC.
You're right.
So a Cleanse is probably not going to be in the books. He might just go out of it from muscle memory. You definitely could. I mean, you could definitely cleanse off a slow, and it'll still actually affect subsequent slows after that. But there's no hard CCs. I don't really feel like there's a huge pressure for Uther to pick it up. And wow, you're just magical. Apparently the match is not on hold anymore. So we're going to be diving back into it here in just a moment. But level 7s are going to actually just be picked up here by Kappa Wolves very quickly. And past that, it's going to be a race to 10, and we'll have to see from there. Will this Kerrigan pressure continue to prevail?
It should. Let's look at the rotation. So what has changed? I think both of the teams had a bit of a connection problem, but they're now back into this one here. So 4 minutes in, it looks to be very standard. In case you just join us, welcome. Do use the hashtag Here'sWC to join in on the conversation and show support for either hashtag Kappa Wolves or hashtag Panda Global.
Yeah, guys, get your voice heard. Maybe we even see some of your comments here on stream. It's always good to see the community out there and about and watching and potentially even winning some of our giveaways. So there's lots of reasons to be tuning in, but level 7s are here. Kappa Wolves very quickly. They did take the cleanse. As I said, muscle memory could actually just be a heck of a thing.
It could be. It could also be because you're looking at a possible Ring of Vengeance. I don't know. It could also be because of Jaina. Jaina has got a lot of extra things on her. You're looking at some Numbing Blast roots going down. And Vala actually going down top lane. Pretty easy
Kerrigan
takedown there.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to see the fight, but I'm going to say Kerrigan in and around that neck of the woods, probably a big factor. Looked like perhaps even a Vault just trying to get out of it. But now that's a really good time to take down the Vala because we got these blue web weavers now pushing in. That's going to be putting up pressure in every single lane. And wow, if we can even get this early fort, that's going to be a very big boost up to that level 10 status.
It will, and if you look at the fort there, pretty good job. Michaeludall actually trying to relay in the Vala. Vala's going to be alright, but Fort will not be. Fort will go down, and top lane already objective completed here. Bottom lane, let's check it on the damage there. We still have the Web Weaver as well, and it's just challenging up this purple Kamehameha. That does some form of damage against the Leoric. Not so impressive right now, but it looks like it is going to be a lot more after 15 minutes in this game.
Yeah, but still, that Fort, that's going to put us at level 10-7 advantage. Kappa Wolves have really snowballed this early game to their favor, but we do have those level 7 towns here for the Pandas, and it does actually include Ossian Renewal. I'm not sure we've seen this from Leoric today.
We've actually seen a lot of Ossian Renewal in SEA. It's kind of like a viable build-up, but because of the nerf, I think, on Leoric's Undying Trade, it is not so frequently used, actually.
Right. Yeah, so either way, 20% of your maximum life for what, perhaps 10? While you're still waiting for that respawn. It is a heck of a boost to your hit points. So we're going to see Daihuu just try to be a little bit more survivable at that point. We just saw another fort, and look at this. So much confidence coming out of Kappa Wolves. They take down 2 forts and go straight to this boss. This could be the earliest boss of the stream today.
Well, this is hands down and going to be an easy boss. They have the heroics. At Panda Global, they don't have that. So Raid Web Weavers will come down, but this monster here will be able to plow down the lane on top, and that will be a problem. Panda Global now, they can actually look forward for a bit of a split push strategy, but they have to defend and address this Grave Golem.
But it is an early Grave Golem. So the 7-minute mark, I mean, we don't actually have any mules on the table. Believe it or not, level 7 came in past and no mules. What are we watching? But, you know, with those red web weavers, it will be a little bit of a respite here for Panda Global. It's a big chance for them to try to get as much experience as they can, but that boss has kind of taken up all of their attention, and now mid already defeated, bottom about to go down there as well. It's not even going to be close to level 10 by the end of it.
So Malfurion actually not going for utility cleanse on that side, and there is the Kerrigan to worry about. Malfurion going for some extra heals there on regrowth.
Yep.
That will be a little bit weird to see for me.
Well, I mean, he's just really going to try to rely on his heals, and the Kerrigan combo lane, as soon as it lands, even if you miss time it just a little bit, you're going to waste out that cleanse. So it's a little bit of a tricky thing. Again, muscle memory can be detrimental in this regard since it doesn't behave as it once did.
God.
Yep, they're going to try to go with the Enduring, and
Udall jumping in. Leoric now some form of trouble. The Entangler is going to connect as well, but he's unstoppable with the Wraith Walk, so he's going to be okay. But look at that, Ravenous Spirit. And like I said before this game began, there is no answer.
Yeah. That Ravenous Spirit, it's going to be up to bigempct to make a big impact with it. At the same time, we do have that Entomb once more. Daihuu is going to try to do it, and, well, only if he lives.
And it seems like Tranquility is going to keep Leoric up alive here, but not so much for Jaina. And Devouring Maw connects on 3 targets. LexUther is up for the takedown. And we also see Ravenous Spirit just going ham here on everyone possible. There goes the Divine Shield, a little bit too slow. A Barcode with the Archon right now, trying to pull back. It just went off. YELKAO with some slow, no pressions. And that's the takedown on Tassadar. Malfurion, last guy alive. Michaeludall nails the coffin right there. And it's a 5-man team wipe. What an insane gameplay.
Just absolutely phenomenal right there. I mean, as soon as the level 10 hits, we actually did engage, and the Maw into the Ravenous. Talk about old school right there, Babel. But still, 5 more takedowns. They've doubled the amount of takedowns. It's 10-0, 13-10. If we hit the 16 mark before we even get to the 12, Panda Global is in the wrong spot of the super sweet spot. And this is probably just going to be a very quick, like 15 to 16 minute game.
I'm actually thinking that this is going to be a third game in the series already. Because
Absolutely.
I see no answer against Ravenous Spirit. And you have so much of a good crowd control. You're looking at Johanna Bless Shield. You're looking at a potential Devouring Maw, of which all of them actually provide so much lockdown that it's almost impossible to run away from the Ravenous Spirit. And if you look at it, it is actually going to be Eviscerate.
Yeah, Eviscerate coming up for the Kerrigan. We do got the Spell Shield there from YELKAO. He's really not going to be being afraid of any of the damage output, but the big thing for me is Nazeebo at 13. That's one of his new talents that he's bringing into this one. I think that one's Thing of the Deep.
Yes, it is, and it's also going to be very interesting to see as well. Kerrigan is gonna actually try and jump on the wall here, and that goes the Entangler is gonna buy some time. LexUther behind the wall there, landing some skill shots. Zeus there also struggling to defend. Now look at a zombie wall connecting on 2 targets. Condemn unfortunately out of range there, and we still have the Wet Weaver pushing all 3 lanes. Tacitus at the bottom lane defending. Mid Wet Weaver still plowing through those structures there, and the second tower looking to go down. There goes the Impaling Blade connecting on Leoric. Leoric in a lot of trouble. Will go down already. Tranquility healing up Jaina, but the whole team, you can feel that they just felt like they don't know how to answer this problem here.
I'd say 15 to 16 minute game. I might actually be off for a few minutes at this rate. 14-11, we got that big advantage for Kappa Wolves. They have the Web Weavers pushing in, top pushing in, mid pushing in. Val is now actually going to be dropping. The Ravenous out there as well, just doing work, not only against the backline, but the keep. There's a Maw. It's going to keep the Malfurion out of this as well, but Michaeludall, he's going to turn right back around. That's going to be not a takedown on top of Barcode. It will actually be the return. Michael saw that he was basically too far forward, but still they also got the Leoric out of it. They nearly got a keep. 10 minutes in, 15 to 12, one more level, and they have that 2 talent tier advantage.
Yeah, it is going to be really, really good. I mean, Kappa Wolves is just completely in control of this game right now. They overextended, which is why you have that problem there. You can see that the mid lane area, it's exactly a bit of a disjoint. That Entomb was really on point. They just split the fight into, you got Kerrigan on one side, really too far out, and the rest of the team just deciding to pull back. So Michaeludall dying there is pretty expected.
Yeah, so, but I mean, you go that ham and you can't actually finish off the keep. Yeah, you're probably going to suffer some of the losses. Remember, some of the death timers this early on is not actually that big. So Panda Global will hit 13 before the 16 tier here for Kappa Wolves, but they're still in the sweet spot of that talent tier advantage in just a moment, but this actually could go dicey.
Oh my god, this is awesome. Look at that Entomb. It's going to wall in 2 targets, and there goes a strafe. Maybe a bit of a turnaround situation here for Panda Global, but they still have a lot of work to do, and they want to try and chase down Michaeludall. Michaeludall needs some help. The Uther is just behind the wall. There goes the Divine Shield. It's going to buy more time, but Johanna is going to be left behind here. YELKAO is going to take the fall. We have Daihuu slowing a lot with the Skeleton Swing. Here comes the extra help from Vala, and a Water Elemental just knocking on Zagara. It's not the best one, but it's going to buy a lot of time, and it may just be enough for a takedown. LexUther with the Moonfire, not even going to try there, and he's just going to pull right back.
Yeah, but still, that was actually a big resurgence right there for Panda Global. They nearly got an entire level from those 2 takedowns. That experience really starting to kick into overdrive right there, and you can see the 13 talents. It is going to be a bit more of a race car build there for Barcode, just like what we saw before. It's going to be prescience into the Dimensional Warp. He has that static charge. He's a big part of the damage to go with Vala, and Vala, he called it, that strafe was absolutely amazing. Now she has Frost Shot on the back of that as well. The control is really starting to kick in for Panda Global.
Double Ice Block as well, one on Jaina, one on Malfurion. That's not going to be easy to take down anymore. They can always pop the Ice Block to really extend the duration of the Revenant Spirit. I mean, they have to survive somehow, and you can't really rely on Malfurion all the while because he actually doesn't provide much of an anti-burst. It's more of like an AoE heal, and that is the problem here with this lineup for Panda Global. But the game is still not done. They just need to get level 16 to be on level playing field. Can they do it? That's the question.
Blade Torrent at 16 to go with the sharpened blades there from Kerrigan. Not only is the radius now bigger, but the damage, of course, from level 1 there as well. Leaping spiders to add to spiders and Thing of the Deep and Gidbin. Like, the range on this Nazeebo is absolutely insane. He can start throwing things out from way far away and then even use the Ravenous because it has such a big radius there as well.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome. LexUther also has got a bit of a range upgrade, actually, with Yulun's Grade, so that's going to be really good as well. We got Lyric getting reeled in by Condemn, some stuns going down. Daihuu looks like he's in some trouble, but LexUther also getting blocked out by the zombie wall, and the whole team on Panda Global, they're just down to just about 50% right now. They have to pull right back. The first keep is gone in just under 14 minutes.
Boss, you think they're going boss? They are kind of making that beeline up there. They don't have the gems to dunk down, so they're going to clear out this wave. They do know that the Pandas were basically back in their base. They could actually make a feint for it, but you know what? Nope, no boss. Let's just go for these keeps. Already one down. There's no gate here. They got the level advantage. There's still not 16 from the Pandas, so any kind of defense is going to be at a disadvantage, and if they lose out anybody very quickly, this could be easily a keep.
This is actually pretty good strategy here by hold that Todd Eggleston Tomb walling in. The Zagara, Devarmo connecting on the Archon. So Tessera gets reeled in already. But look at the Blastio connecting on both the Malfurion as well as Leoric. Some extra damage from those right click hits from Tessera. It is going to be pretty painful to see. Michaeludall with the reel in and Impaling Blaze will connect. Look at the Revenant Spirit. The Ghost is coming to town. And Zeus now in a lot of trouble will go down. There goes the Demented Shift. And Barcode is going to be okay. But Daihuu dropping all the way down to just about 5%. And Evan... well, he's just going to have to pull back right now.
Yeah, Evandrinde cannot go 5-on-1. Look at the zoning coming in. Michaeludall, is that enough? No, it's not going to be the combo, but still, mission accomplished. They got those takedowns. They got the keep. Why is Evandrinde still here? Vala's going to drop now, but low hit points all across the board for the Kappa Wolves. They're not going to be quite able to do that boss yet. People have gone home to visit the fountain, but still 2 keeps down. This is just going from bad to worse for the Pandas.
It is, and Michaeludall, he's just getting to mine right there. He jumped you, making you think that he actually made a misplay. But Vala got overconfident, tried to land some Hungering Arrow, and that was it. The reeling was complete. Impaling Blaze has picked off the takedown right there really nicely. And we have got about 15 minutes into this game. This is exactly where you will see some extra scaling on this Web Weavers. And speak about Web Weavers, we've got about 36 gems on the side of Kappa Wolves. They have a little bit more, but we're looking for Panda Global to turn them in first.
All right, we're actually missing, I think, 2? No, they actually have them now as well. So, all right, so the Kappa Wolves can turn in. They do have enough. They didn't before when I looked. Now they actually do. They got the level 18, but 16 is here. We're finally on that even talent here from the Pandas. This is their best chance for a fight.
And here we go, and Tomb just walling in. Johanna, it may not be enough. There goes the Drain Hope. Evan dropping a lot of HP there. Michaeludall quickly being helped by the Divine Shield. They want to do a little bit more. Revenant Spirit coming on. Daihuu taking a lot of damage, way too much. And now Fear gets consumed by the Devouring Wall. This is disastrous. They all get reeled in by Condemn. There goes the combo, and he misses. He's only human. And Kerrigan now also going down. Malfurion is gone. 1 down on the side of Kappa Wolves, 2 down on the side of Panda Global. But we have a nice block. It's only delaying the inevitable. Zeus now in a lot of trouble. He tries to do some damage, but will go down. Evan swings by, and those spiders, those Black Widows just gnawing at you, and it's really irritating. 4 men down on the side of Panda Global. We still see the chase. Leoric, he wants to use Drain Hope, aka Face, heals up, crushing home, not in impact, and Daihuu has to pull right back, but the rest of the members already at the base. You see Big Impact here, you see YELKAO here, you see Web Weavers here, the whole town is here. Panda Global now losing the shield. This will be game.
Yeah, the level 20 advantage is too much to give up. Daihuu nowhere near for this defense, and the blue Web Weavers are pushing down. This is going to be game number 3, the first set of games that are going all the way to the limit. Kappa Wolves able to bring it back. They really did snowball that early game Kerrigan. 5 takedowns, 10 takedowns, and 3 levels difference by the end of it. A completely different team than game number 1.
It is really, really insane. You look at the answers to Nazeebo's Revenant Spirit, almost nothing there could have stopped it.
Nope, nothing at all, and he used that to the highest siege damage and amongst the highest hero damage by the end of it. That Ravenous, the range increases, leaping spiders, it was just overall, I mean, this is the age of Nazeebo, it seems, Kubi.
Yes, it is, and we talked about how so many pieces were going to go into that puzzle for Kappa Wolves in that game. Kerrigan did a great job, played by Michaeludall, to establish himself very early, put the fear in the enemy team, and then every other piece was falling right in place. We saw Ravenous Spirits that were being executed at the right time in the team fights, Maws that were going off just so that they could isolate and sustain the rest of the members. Very, very well done from the team. And I'm going to show you guys a replay showing that team strategy off just that. So what we're actually noticing right here is a lot of pressure being put onto Daihuu. We see a very, very nice zombie wall. But more importantly, It's this moment we see Michaeludall has all of a sudden said, okay, Jaina out of position. We're going to advance it just a little bit further. And it's this point where they say, okay, we're going to take out Jaina, but more importantly, it's the response from the enemy team. They're looking at this situation. They're saying, YELKAO, we need to punish him. We throw up the wall from Leoric. It's very well done, but can you believe the maw that is going in at this point right here? And they're saying, we can lock these guys out. This buys exactly enough time to get YELKAO out of this position. So it was the pressure from Michaeludall. It was the great response with the maw. And then take a look at this guy right here. He is going to be the star of the show moving forward, and he is going to get an excellent Ravenous Spirit off that goes completely uncontested right as that maw goes, and they follow up with a great pull. Everything falls into place, and it's this kind of play that really takes Kappa Wolves to a huge lead. 4 levels at one point I think they had, which is just incredible considering the level of skill between all of these teams. Very, very well executed.
Awesome. And Jester, you say that's a secret strategy for Panda Global.
It's a secret for a reason. I can't
Their
tell you in
tournament
case
life
they're
is
listening.
on the line right now, and it's going to be interesting. But Jester, of course, I do respect that, and hope you guys enjoy this entire game here. The current score is going to be 1-1, and I have really nothing to say. It is an awesome series. You look at such an fantastic draft on the side of Kappa Wolves. It's completely outdrafted Panda Global.
Okay, so Jester, the actual question is, you don't have to tell us what the strategy is, but are they going to pull it out here? What do you think?
Well, this is do or die.
Right?
If they don't do it now, then it's just the meta must have changed enough. But this I saw in no less than 4 of the 6 games that I casted of them. They went for that strategy, but I haven't seen it yet.
Oh god, could be a meta shift here. So we don't know about that, but what we do know is that Panda Global has something to say. So let's see what it is.
All these 5 guys have, solid mechanics, great game sense, etc., etc.
LexUther, he is our support. He's a very gangsta guy. His favorite character is Uther. That's his best performing character, hence the name. Evandrinde, a very arrogant and cocky person, but really funny. I think his best character is probably Jaina.
For me, synergy is the most important thing on a team. You could have 5 of the greatest players in the world, but if they don't mesh, then I don't think you really have a quote-unquote team.
And then you have Zeus. He's a really quirky, I guess you could say, type of person. Favorite character and best character is Thrall. And then Barcode, he's a very chill type of guy, and he performs really well in Kel'Thas.
Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the 3rd game between Kappa Wolves and Panda Global. I am Babel, joined by Jester and Kubi. How are you guys doing?
Well, it's hard to not be hyped after that last game. Just came down right to the wire, and Michaeludall just really showing us the power of that Kerrigan.
I told you guys, Kerrigan is hype, and when it's played really well, you get an aggressive game that feels so commanding. Kappa Wolves did a fantastic job executing that. So we find the series tied up 1-1, like you were mentioning, Babel. Now I'm going to throw you on the spot. You ready for this? You have been the neutral party here, okay? I've been like the Kappa Wolves, okay? Jester, he's been all about the Panda Global. You've seen a game where each team wins. Who's got the mechanics to take this?
Oh, well, I'll say for sure that in terms of mechanics, I think that Kappa Wolves have got some good skills there. But it really depends on the draft for me. So I will say that if Kappa Wolves get the Kerrigan again, and if they have an unanswered Nazeebo's Ravenous Spirit, they have this. If, however, Panda Global, they got that early game rotations going on for them, that could be possible for them as well. But if I have to choose one, I'm going to roll with Kappa Wolves.
Okay.
Because of Michaeludall.
And that's the last we saw of Babelcast.
I'm getting taken out after this. But as I say, do let us know which team you support using the hashtag HeroesWC and also hashtag the favorite team as well. It's either hashtag Kappa Wolves or a Panda Global.
And Heroes of the Storm North America Road to BlizzCon is brought to you by our official hardware partners, Gigabyte and NVIDIA. So huge shout outs and thanks to those guys for supporting this event.
So guys, I'm actually really excited because game number 3, this is our first game 3 between matches. We've seen Sky Temple, we've seen Cursed Hollow, we've seen Tomb of the Spider Queen. Could this actually be one of the other battlegrounds for once?
Ooh.
Could it be?
This is tricky, but I'm thinking it's going to be Cursed Hollow.
Well, that would, if we want to stay within the confines of those 3, yes, it would have to be Cursed Hollow after this one. But there's so many other battlegrounds: Blackheart's Bay, Haunted Mines, Battlefield of Eternity, Dragonshire, Garden of Terror. We're missing out majority of those other battlegrounds. I gotta say, I mean, what is it about these battlegrounds that hit in the patch?
I don't know. I think it's just got to do with what a lot of the teams are feeling comfortable on. We saw this with Sky Temple in the previous patch as well. Tomb of the Spider Queen still getting played a lot, and I think a lot of the teams want to try out that new change that you guys were talking about past the 15 minutes. We're seeing the damage scale quite a bit more.
Quite a bit.
And that actually did play a huge impact in the last game, but we're not going to be seeing that moving forward. I actually am getting word that the draft is ready for game number 3 between Kappa Wolves and Panda Global.
Oh, it's Dragonshire.
Yay! Something new.
Yep, this is a very interesting battleground because
Yes,
Dragonshire is all about skirmishes. Very rarely will you see a big 5v5. It's always about the top shrine, bottom shrine, dragon shrine. It's all about the shrines. It's really important to maintain control across all 3 lanes.
And that's why we're seeing the Zagara being taken out right away. I think it's just an incredible control asset that this hero has, so I think it makes a lot of sense that she gets taken out that early.
Follow-up Zeratul ban is also just ridiculously good on this matchup because you can actually, if your team is, let's say they're good enough to get both of those shrines, you can actually VP anybody that comes up to you and just grab it for yourself in that entire span of time that they are actually frozen out. So I like that ban as well. I mean, you know, the stealth will work into it, but Panda Global, man, they're picking up that Kael'thas, baby.
Well, I was about to say I really like to see Hammer in his battleground.
Yes. Okay, if it's going to be a Hammer, it's a last pick Hammer. You're not going to first pick
no,
Hammer.
that's true.
That's
so,
true.
Actually, Babel, you and I were talking about this just last night and how important it is to have skirmish control onto this battleground and keeping control of those 2 lanes. And I think that there's a lot of heroes that we could see popping up. Hammer could be one of them for that exact reason because zone control is so good. We're seeing the mages get picked out here on either side, but do you think maybe there's a chance for Illidan?
Illidan is going to be interesting. We mentioned before with Hun, he has global presence at level 20, and that's important because you really want to have the numbers advantage. War is a numbers game. So when you have Illidan on your side, and if he jumps someone all the way on the other side of the battleground here, it is going to be really good for the team if he picks him off. But what's interesting from both teams is that they seem to want to go towards a team fight composition.
Yes. We're going to see that with the Leoric and the Jaina, and team fighting, it's going to happen for sure, but we talked about that skirmish situation. I think we're probably going to see a lot more of that, so both teams need to keep that in mind as we move forward. Johanna and Nazeebo get grabbed for Panda Global.
So Panda has the Nazeebo this time. Is that going to sway your vote to me, Mr. Baby?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see Nazeebo on the side of Panda Global, but we'll see what Kappa Wolves' answers are. I would really like to see a lot more specialists because like you guys know already, this battleground is really about maintaining lane presence, and who better to continue this lane pressure with those specialists. Sylvanas is great on this battleground.
Yes.
You have also got those possible Zagara, which is banned out, and Nazeebo getting picked up. I don't know, Gaslow's not so good, but if we see Gaslow, I'm gonna be mind blown.
Is Kappa going to go
we all
Uther?
will be.
Is the Kappa going to go Uther after this? Because they banned out the Rhaegar, and you know it's not going to be a ban for Panda Global.
There it
They're
is.
going to say no Kerrigan.
No Kerrigan. Please.
You're saying, Kubi, you know, Uther has definitely been kind of the #1 pick right now when it comes to preference. And with that Rhaegar ban out there, and well, if they wanted that melee, it's not going to be a Kerrigan, but it still could actually be the Odin you're looking for.
Yeah, no supports have been grabbed at this point in the draft. I think this is probably a first for the whole day. No support being picked up before the first set of bans. That's why we're seeing that Rhaegar taken out. It's going to be Muradin. Are we going to see the Uther scooped up early to either deny or just have that really strong resource on your side? Only time will tell, and there it is. The Uther gets grabbed with the Muradin.
It has to be Uther. Nazeebo with Divine Shield and Ravenous Spirit. This is just going to spell trouble. So they have to pick it up. It's just without a doubt. My problem here is Muradin, yes, he does have Dwarf Toss. He can actually stop Nazeebo's Ravenous Spirit. Leoric also has got that zoning issues there, which could actually prove to be a bit of a problem. But they don't really have an answer outside Muradin, strictly speaking. And now you have Malfurion as well for Panda Global. This is really looking like it's slanting towards Panda Global. But the last pick on Kappa Wolves will be interesting.
Yeah, well, the last pick needed here for Panda. They got that Malfurion to go with the Kael'thas Nazeebo. Only Johanna for the front, so is it going to be a bit more of a flex? Another second warrior. If it's not going to be that, perhaps the Valna for the Q build, for the Hungering. What do you think, Kubi?
Yeah, it could be either of those. We haven't seen Falstad yet either, and the mobility can be very, very important for those heroes, especially when you consider that his mount is the ability to fly across the map. We'll have to wait and see what Panda Global is looking to scoop up. It is going to be a Tassadar.
Yeah, so coming in with that flex. Not quite the warrior, not quite the damage, but a little bit of a jack of all trades when it comes down to it. Kappa Wolves, now, you said they needed an answer. up against the Nazeebo. So far, yeah, you could actually dwarf toss in. Could they go triple tank for the Tyrael?
Oh, it's going to be really insane. I mean, Tyrael's going to be good against Nazeebo, but you're investing a lot of damage on warriors, a lot of picks on warriors, and they don't really deliver. You got Jaina, and it's the hammer! Oh my god! Bring the rain!
So happy they have the double warrior. They have the control. Why is Hammer so important? Why are we talking about Hammer so much? Especially on this battleground, you have so much more control over those zones, and it really has to do with some of the changes that she got in this last patch. The cooldown on the siege mode has been reduced greatly. Mana cost reduced. The amount of damage that she does at range has been buffed up a little bit, and she has more HP. So much more viable in this meta. Everything about Sergeant Hammer is controlling range and having that damage at a distance, and I love the composition that we have. Hocfoo, it's his favorite hero. I fully expect to see him on this hero.
So it's not quite an answer to the Ravenous, but hey, range meets range. Now, hopefully we are going to see Sergeant Hammer actually perform very well. It is going to be Hocfoo. 99% sure it's going to be Hocfoo playing it here for the Kappa Wolves. But Kubi, I mean, this used to be her map. She used to dominate this with Zagara. Zagara banned out, now Sergeant Hammer coming back. Could it be those Siege sisters once more reigning supreme?
It very well could be. We'll find out. I think this match will do a lot to establish that. Before we get into that game, we're going to go right quick back to Babel. Now that you've seen the drafts, who is it? Who is it? Who is it?
I'm still going to roll with Kappa Wolves.
Yes!
Hammer.
Yes!
Hammer. You're looking at a lot of good stage damage. So we do have the game, ladies and gentlemen. The third game in the series, Kappa Wolves versus Panda Global. On the blue team, we got Kappa Wolves, Big Impact playing as the Jaina, aka Face, onto Uther. You got Hocfoo on Sergeant Hammer, Michaeludall playing as the Leoric, and last but not least, YELKAO will be your Muradin.
All right, so I'm sad to say that I have yet to see the Panda Global super secret strat, and I'm not still going to talk about it until they for sure win or lose. But LexUther once more on the Malfurion, Barcode this time on the damage-dealing Kael'thas. Daihuu is once more on the Warriors of Johanna, Evandrinde on the Nazeebo, and Zeus on our Tassadar this round. A little bit of a mix-up for the lanes. These guys are definitely very flexible in their hero picks, but coming into this, it's hard to say no to the Sergeant Hammer. This used to be the Siege Sisters' kind of dominant map going into it because they control the space so very well. But now that Kael'thas is in this meta, now they got that Nazeebo, well, who might actually just drop here very quickly, and there he goes. Maybe not. There he goes. Geez, wow. Babel, what the heck's going on?
Daihuu swinging by, Condemn connecting on 2 target. Leoric going down. That's 3 already going down in this game so far. Gravity Labs beautifully executed on aka Face. It's gonna be alright. Leoric respawns as well, but Daihuu is really making those plays here.
Alright, so the level 1 talk is gonna get cut short because not only have we already seen multiple takedowns here into this bottom lane, nobody is top up against Hocfoo.
And yes, that's a problem. Hammer is just really having a good time here at the top lane. And we actually mentioned about answers to Nazeebo's Ravenous Spirit. We all forgot about Muradin's avatar. He can just get in your face and land those extra stuns.
Like, is that what he's just going to be relegated to? He has to get right through everyone with that Dwarf Toss?
Well, it will be possible still if they really have to. That said, Evan, mid lane, he is just going to get taken down.
Evandrinde on the Nazeebo. This is a very small kind of battleground. Like, the space between the bottom and the mid is not really that great. Wow, double red already early on, but do we actually have anybody there red? No, we don't. It's going to be guarded by your favorite security guard there, Babel. But,
yeah.
At the same time, you can't really put Nazeebo in the mid lane. He has to go into the top, or he has to be protected in the bottom because of these reasons. He's too immobile early on.
Yeah, he is, and this could be a bit of a problem. So mid lane, you're looking at Johanna's Knight takes pawn against Leoric's Skeleton Swing, and both of which are really good skills if they really want to try and apply pressure in the lane. Malfurion going down at the bottom lane as well. We're seeing a lot of takedowns for Dragonshire, and this is a skirmish map, so skirmishes are happening. I'm really happy about that.
Hocfoo's holding down the top like a champion. This 3-man ping pong into the bottom, into the mid has actually yielded quite a few takedowns, and again, we already see a little bit of a level advantage going over to Kappa Wolves. This is very reminiscent of last game, although not quite as dominant without that Kerrigan, but still, Michaeludall showing us Leoric play. It's pretty much on point still.
Yes, it is, and do note that it is going to be a stumble build on YELKAO, and I really like this. Even if a Dragonite spawns here for Panda Global, he can do so much damage.
Oh, Stormbolt, yeah. So, yeah, he'll be able to do some pretty significant damage as well if he ever gets a chance to push. That 400% is going to start hitting, 4 digits by the end of this game. So it's not a bad choice whatsoever. We have yet to see any reverberation, just simply because we don't really see auto attackers, really. It's been a pretty mage-heavy kind of day. And now Sergeant Hammer, Vala, we saw Sylvanas once, but not big picks.
Possible Dragon Knight here, bottom shrine actually gonna get contested. Pretty well done here by Barcode as well as Zeus.
Well, I mean, if that 3-man couldn't do it, especially with the help of the Siege Giants, then we have a bigger problem right now. Now, you can see Nazeebo, who's actually into the top lane. He is going to be there instead of that mid. Daihuu swapped out with him. They're going to force out those Hyper Thrusters, and Hocfoo will at least live to fight another day, but she's not taking care of that top nearly as easily as she once used to.
Yeah, she's not. And if you look at the bottom lane right now, at the bottom shrine, Akaface doing a pretty good job here, and there goes the Stumble connecting nicely, but it is a Tassadar, so Dimensional Shield will be used.
Yeah, the body block is actually a really scary prospect, especially YELKAO, a little bit of a fatter model with that dwarf. It's low to the ground, and he's very sturdy, but you can't really go through him very well. Still, either way, Kappa Wolves level 7, they definitely accrued that experience lead. They got the town advantage, but it's going to be a very small window going into it. No Ocean this time, and whoops, there goes Johanna.
Pretty easy takedown there. You're looking at 4 versus 2 in terms of takedown. Level 7 both sides. And Hammer with the first 8. It's a very standard old school Hammer build. And also do show your support for these teams here. Hashtag here's WC to join in on the conversation and use the hashtags Kappa Wolves and Panda Global to show your support.
Might go down with my opinion, but at least it's my opinion.
Oh, wow. Jester fighting for the Panda Global team here. It's going to be pretty good. We have Gibson actually on the Zeebo, so that's awesome. And you also see Cleanse on Malfurion. That's going to help a lot.
Yeah, Uther picks it up there as well. Fish and Bomb, as well as the Wraithwalk. As I said, it's not Ocean Renewal this round. The Wraithwalk will be having its range extended. Sorry, it's
Lingering Apparition.
Yep, that one.
Yeah, that's
good on you.
Filthy onto death though, so that is going to be all, pretty strong actually, I think, in the laning phase. But if you really want to try and apply pressure, this is exactly what you need to do, because Lyric is just going to, sit tight in the mid lane, and he's just going to get those EXP. He's just going to clear those minions and apply all this pressure. Yes, I know it's like a battleground all over again. You're looking at a lot of mines, and those mines will hurt.
Yeah, at this point, Evandrinde is like, they're not on this map for a long time, and Sergeant Ham is being very aggressive. Let's check that bush with our Toads, and that will actually force them off. And they're going to be rotating probably all the way down here, because they need to put up this pressure. This should actually be now the double shrine going back and forth, and Leoric is actually left to his own devices. Somebody has to get there, like post-haste.
Yeah, he has to. And look at Evandrinde, he's in a lot of trouble, but it seems like Leoric is going to channel. No, the shield glare going to buy some time.
That's all she has.
Daihuu.
That's all she has.
Oh, she does not have enough. Michaeludall is actually going to be in the Dragon Knight right now, piloting that BC is also going to do a lot of damage. LexUther bottom lane in a lot of trouble. Frostbolt not connecting. Jaina now have to pull right back. Barcode is there. Zeus as well. There goes the Signing Storm, but it is not going to result in a takedown.
That was actually a missed Frostbolt looking for the takedown there on top of that Malfurion, and it didn't happen. Remember, this guy's just been rampaging here. He's been kicking Daihuu around, but there was no gate here. Daihuu just not really able to put up the big defense, but since there's no gate and he's not going for the fort, he needs to transition lanes, and that's why he's coming down with the 3-man, with the 4-man now with this Dragon. This should be level 10, and it is, and it also should be these towers like easy peasy.
He's got enough time to take down these towers as well as gate, but the real question is, does he really want to go in to take out the healing well? And that will be a bit of a trouble. Yes, he is actually trying that out right now. Yeah. There goes the shield, and he does have the HP as well. Healing well will go out. So this is really bad news for Panda Global's bottom lane.
But ultimately, the Dragon only did get 2 towers and 2 healing wells perhaps, but not really huge experience contributing factors. But ooh, this is dicey. They're gonna go right in.
And Tomb connecting quickly. Kiltoss is going to go down. LexUther with Tranquility, just making sure Tassadar still alive here. And 4-Mem still pulling back out. There goes the Blessed Shield. They want to take the fight. There goes the Divine Shield. Also, YELKAO has to pull back, but there goes the Zombie Wall. And retreat is not an option. Michaeludall is going to go down Gargantuan instead. They know Ravenous Spirit is not an option, so they went for the big Jester-looking thing.
Yep, all right, that again. Cool. Yeah, but with that Gargantuan, I mean, sure, they were able to turn around and get the takedown on top of Leoric, but he's going to be back very quickly. Top lane was kind of the big idea here of Hocfoo. She pushed in, not only did they get the gate, but now pressure on that fort. Level advantage is still being maintained. Sergeant Hammer so far hasn't been a big team fight tool, but she has been very annoying in those other lanes.
I would say Nazeebo's doing a really good job at the top lane because I'm expecting a lot more damage on those structures that are coming out from Sergeant Hammer, but it's not really happening yet, and I would like to see Hammer apply more pressure there. Yes, overextension could be a problem here without good support, and that's exactly what the rest of the team needs to do. And as you can see here, Lyric is just maintaining some good presence across here in between the transition phases of the top and mid lane.
Now, Hocfoo have been consistently putting mines into that bottom shrub. Does not want to get spooked or kind of ganked at this point. You know, once you actually get a hammer and she doesn't have any hyper thrusters, it's pretty easy to take her down. So she's been consistently putting down the mines. You know, nobody even goes into that bush. So they keep expiring, which is why they look like there's so many of them. She's going to be defending out. Michaeludall and crew looks like they're going to be pushing in. They don't have hammer on their back, though.
Oh my god, Nazeebo now in a lot of trouble and two connecting, but we're also going to see Lyric pulling right back out with the Wraith Walk. It is not going to result in a takedown, but everyone else needs to pull right back. Lyric still getting chased by Gargantuan. Gargantuan will take the fall. There goes some stuns. Stumble connecting on two targets as well, and both sides will still try and maintain pressure and control.
This is starting to actually take a turn of momentum. This is now multiple takedowns early for Kappa Wolves, but they haven't really taken one in a while. They're going to try to re-engage on this one. This engage looks a little bit better for them, but Divine Shield will actually stop out the Blessed Shields that came into the Daihuu now going to be way too far forward. Here comes that Malfurion terrain, good, but it's not going to be near enough. Johanna is actually going to be the one to fall.
And also, Dimensional Shift being used by Zeus, the whole team now pulling right back. There goes the Stumble, kills us now. It's gonna be Ham, and there goes the Blizzard. It is gonna be a takedown. They're looking for more. Napalm coming out. Zeus there, nearly taking the fall.
Yeah, nearly, but still, after that, you know, in the beginning of the fight, we did hit 13, so it was a big power spike. Giant Killer coming into that. Hocfoo, just all those auto attacks really starting to add up by the end of it. Shrink Ray, we had the Thunder Strike coming in there from YELKAO and the Ice Block from Jaina as well. The first engage looked very, very sketchy, but that second one was much more solid. And now a Dragonite on the back of it as well. Kappa Wolves really starting to swing.
Yeah, I have to say, this is tournament life on the line for both teams. They are both at 1 inch, and this is the third game. Whoever loses this round is not going to have the chance to go onwards to the America's Championship, and that is a lot to both teams here, actually.
YELKAO, the wall killer, takes the dragon, kills walls. Not exactly the biggest return I've ever seen out of it, guys, but Michaeludall's trying to push out the top. Bottom lane, you see the transition, Sergeant Hammer sending down there as well. They're just using the dragon to try to draw people to them. Their objective isn't mid, it's actually these side lanes.
Yes, it is, and Michaeludall doing a pretty good job there, but we have only 25 seconds remaining on the Dragon Knight, and Sergeant Hammer is still not applying enough pressure at the bottom lane. I'd like to see what kind of damage that she has done already, but YELKAO is going to go down here, and it seems like it's a dove toss. Zombie walls coming in as well as entangling roots, but it is not going to be enough, and YELKAO will be okay. And it seems like we have Johanna flanking, but bottom,
there you go.
Fort in a lot of trouble.
Yep.
Napalm gonna also go down there and condemn from Johanna, just a little bit too short.
That's gonna be the Fort. I mean, there's nobody there to contest it. The Fort is actually now going to be down and out. Big experience jump right there for Kappa Wolves. 15, now looking at 16. If they can grab that 16, while we're still on the 13 tier here from Panda Global, they're going to have that talent tier advantage coming into this, and you're going to see bigger aggression coming into them, probably in and around the time the shrines are about to spawn.
Here we go, Chain Bomb up on Kilthus, level 13. This is where Panda Global is starting to hurt. You also have Tassadar across all 3 lanes, and he's pretty good in the early phases, but it is just not good enough against Kappa Wolves. So here we have a pretty good bottom lane push strategy. Barcode, he's looking to apply those pressure, but can they actually push this lane enough, or do they have to pull off?
Well, I mean, right now, Panda Global, they do kind of got to pull off. Look at that. Level 16 is in the works, and there it is. That tier is now here for Kappa Wolves, and just like clockwork, they back off. They cannot risk any kind of bad engages when they're 2 levels down, especially with that talent tier. And 16, it's gonna be the hover siege.
Oh boy, now Hammer can move actually, and it is gonna be interesting because it is 2 seconds to reset your siege mode, and now you can move. So this is where Hocfoo is really trying to bring the rain, and the whole team is looking at the bottom lane aggression here. We've got about 30 seconds before shrines activate, and if you're checking on the talents, Nazeebo does have Ice Block, so does Malfurion, Numbing Blast up on Jaina, and you also will see Benediction on Uther, and this is really, really awesome.
So right now, it's all about Hocfoo, the creeping death, the blue circle of dominance as they keep moving forward in. On top of this keep, the gate did not survive very long at all. They are going to throw out the Phoenix, but again, they're going to look for this aggression during the shrines, and the shrines are now up. Johanna is nowhere to be found. She's actually in the top lane and showing herself there, so it's not going to quite be those shrines, but that's okay. Kappa Wolves have no interest in letting up this pressure, especially if they're going to give it up 4v5.
They know that they have absolute control of the bottom shrine, so Johanna is at the top lane just doing some form of split push aggression. I'm not so sure if that is the right play here, but she is looking for EXP, so that's still understandable. But at the bottom lane, you see this nade pump, very irritating. Johanna is back in town, and YELKAO looking for a pullback because now the warrior is there to set up the fight. Do they want to go for the hammer? I think they want a tackling route is going to be enough. And also look at the zombie wall. Hocfoo is in a lot of trouble. Daihuu still wants to go in to pull him in, but it's not going to happen. Zeus there completely behind enemy line, has to pull back. Nade pump coming out, and the poke is real. We still have Tessadar dropping a lot of HP, and Johanna now going to have to pull right back Barcode with the gravity labs connecting quickly there. It was really a short fight.
Lots of low hit points across the board, and that was a really great collapse on top of Hocfoo, but at the same time, they didn't have 16. Finally now, we're on that same town tier, but we've used so many heroics. We've already used the dive, and there goes the keep. Hocfoo was able to slam and just destroy it over time. That entire engagement was the gate, the keep, not even a death on the side of the Kappa Wolves. They're pushing pressure. They know how to do this. This is a very old school strat, and Hocfoo, you gotta be very happy with the result.
It's really good. I mean, you're looking at a potential kill thus, leaving bomb, chain bomb quickly coming out to do those damage on Hocfoo, but he survived, and that is all that matters. At the end of the day, the Divine Shield coming out just saved him, and Uther is the main priority here. It is really important to make sure Uther uses Divine Shield on some other target before you jump in quickly on the hammer. We all know hammer is going to bring the rain, but it's important to take out the support first, and can they do that?
Well, they might actually have a good opportunity to take out Daihuu. There comes the creeping death again, but Hocfoo, I mean, the good thing about a hover siege from Panda Global is that they can just run away from it. Well, for a while. At any rate, they might be able to set up a good ambush, wait for some of those cooldowns. Now, Kappa Wolves, they're quite okay with this because again, they're controlling a lot of this space, and now as they move forward, they're looking to capitalize on as much experience as they can, get level 20. Everybody's just ignoring shrines at this point.
Yeah, man, the shrine's the objective of this battleground. Now the primary, here comes Archon from behind, connecting quickly, and then two being used by Michaeludall, but there goes the Divine Shield, and they really need the hammer to bring in the pain here. Can she do it? That's the question. Gravity Labs connecting quickly on Murden, and also the Thunderclap there, doing some damage against Nazeebo, but bottom area here, you're gonna see Jaina getting killed up quickly by Uther, and Tessadar gets flipped around. Also gonna see YELKAO switch around and pick up the Nazeebo. That's all his job really is. He's just going into Nazeebo's face, locking her out of the fight.
So much is being dumped on top of Hocfoo, and she just shrugs it off. Not only is the hyper, she can't Zed out of it, but we still have so much team support to come into that. The peel, the Divine Shield, it's all just come together, and after Panda Global throws so much trying to take her down, they have nothing left in the bank. They lost that one 2-1. They didn't even take out the Jaina.
Oh my god, Jaina now in a lot of trouble, and we got Uther in his vicinity. Blizzard coming right out, and it is going to be a bit of a numbing blast route there.
God, so
Gravity
much
Lab's not going to connect, but look at Hammer just slowly creeping up. You're right, Jester.
It's creeping death. It's the blue circle of death. Like, you can't do anything in that circle by yourself. You need a full team, and even then, there's a Divine Shield on the back of it. There's cleanses on the back of this as well, and there it is. The map pressure, the map control has afforded the next Dragon Knight. It's been 100% here for the Kappa Wolves, and now again, they're going to be looking to put the irons to the experience gaining structures, because that's going to be level 20 on the end of it.
It will be. We still have a full minute up on the Dragon Knight pushing up the top lane. At the mid lane, we have Hammer right here. Gravity Labs, unfortunately, I don't think Gravity Roy really worked out here for him.
No, not at all. It can't even hit Hocfoo at this point. And again, just like what we saw with 13-16, Panda Global, now that we're 20 for Kappa Wolves, they just could not do anything except defend. And even then, it's going to be a weaker defense, and I'm not sure that they can hold here, Babel.
I'm not so sure as well. We got a Dragon Knight being tossed up in the air quickly and getting rooted down as well. Condemn connecting on two targets. We want Daihuu. They want to make sure that at least they go in, and there goes the charge, and we see Malfurion getting turned all the way to Beijing. Lost out of this map already. We see the Entomb as well, and the Blast Shield coming out, but the Hammer is just doing so much damage across all of these heroes here. They have to make sure that they stay alive, and that's a problem. There goes the Chain Bomb. YELKAO is not enough to pick up the takedown here, but they're all still in this fight, and how is no one dying?
Yeah, nobody's actually gone down because of that Dragon Knight. You didn't have that full combo. Oh, very close, getting very dangerously low there from Zeus, but at the same time, Hocfoo is still slamming on top of this keep. He has that Nexus Frenzy at level 20. The range, the attack speed, it's just all coming together. for Kappa Wolves. Not even the Phoenix can really do much about this here, but that's going to be Daihuu. He's going to be trying to do it. That Avatar's going to get popped in response.
Oh, Tranquility, and also the Ice Block. That's going to help the team stay alive a little bit longer. Tassadar with the measure shift, but we lose Nazeebo. That's the first target down. They want more. We still got Daihuu to play the fight here. There goes the Entomb. Not the best one we've seen, but it's okay. Bleeder connecting. Johanna's gone. They have the Stomp Talons and they're making good use of it. If you look at the Nexus Frenzy, that's increased attack speed as well as range. This hammer is really bringing the hammer time.
Protect the hammer, my friends. It is coming back. Hocfoo's making it look good there as well. The keep is down. We got 2-3 defenders down as Kel'Thas is going to drop. Tassar's going into the back. He's going to try his best up against Hocfoo, but it's just not going to be near enough. Malfuria's a team wipe right there. Kappa Wolves have brought it back. They are going to advance 2-1, and they stay in the tournament. Their life is still there, but we say goodnight to the Sweet Pandas.
Yeah, you say goodnight to the Pandas, Jester.
I just did.
All right. Great job. I mean, look at that hammer. It's so insane. You have so much damage there and so much dominance. Dragonshire, we know this is a map for hammer, and it's just been proven. Kubi, what do you have to say to that game
This is
there?
the greatest day of my life. This is the greatest day of my life. The return of the hammer. I'm so excited, and we saw flawless composition built around this. And the replay that I'm going to be showing you guys highlights exactly what I'm talking about. The lane control, everything, the positioning about the hammer is what we really want to talk about. So what we can see up until this point in this bottom lane, and this is really what led up to taking this bottom keep. Everything was about hammer slowly pushing forward, and it's not really something that you think about too much, but you're putting pressure on the enemy team. You're forcing them to engage. What is it about the enemy team that says we have a lot of tools to engage? You have Johanna, yeah, that's okay. Phoenix is kind of good to push them back, but there was a lot of pressure on the enemy team, and they just didn't seem to have the tools to do it. So what I want to highlight actually is the Entomb that gets thrown out here, and it's going to be more of a zoning Entomb at this point, and it's all about protecting the hammer. Again, I will do my fancy stars right here because I want you guys to keep your eyes on the hammer. It's been the story the whole game. Really important that we sort of highlight how much in the team was going forward in terms of making sure that she was safe. Another thing that is going to happen on the red side for Panda Global, Tassadar is going to run in because he has the tools to do so. He has the dimensional shift. He can just walk past the enemy line, try to put some pressure on in the back. And big kudos to Akaface, gets the rotation with the benediction, is able to stall out the Tassadar, and is able to put just stall him out long enough for Hocfoo to get out of there. It was a good cleanse. Everything about what's going on in the next clip that we're about to watch is about making sure that the hammer is safe and is able to get work done. So there's the Entomb going down. We see the Zeus is trying to go into the back line. Akaface getting that stun. Hocfoo was able to get out at the last second. Big Impact receiving that Divine Shield, and look at this, they have to back up. But look how much was spent. Every heroic is sent down, and they can just back up, heal up Hocfoo, and then start moving back in. That Hover Siege did wonders for the team as they were going forward. This led to them taking a keep. And this type of play was being prevalent throughout the entire game, just the zone control and forcing mistakes out of the enemy team. Panda Global was under too much pressure for that game, and they ended up falling. So congrats to Kappa Wolves for successfully executing a build the hammer or build around the hammer comp. Very well done.
Oh, you know what that was about.
Yep.
You know what that was about. So yeah, that was fun. I mean, if you look at that, it was really an awesome game. And I think it's all about the draft. At the end of the day, you know the map's objective. You know the map's battleground's ability here to put up the focus here. And Dragonshire is right up Hammer's alley.
Oh yeah.
So what I was looking for from the Pandas is in their top 64, 32, 16, I got to do 7 games from them. They had a strategy of double warrior, one of them being a Nubarak, and Web Blast. And they would ban out the supports to force Malfurion, and then they would Web Blast Malfurion and win 5v4. Worked 5 out of 7 games. They didn't get the other games. They got banned out of it, so they couldn't do that. But 5 out of 7, I'm really surprised I wasn't able to see that here. I really think that secret strategy could have worked wonders for the Pandas. But we will say goodnight as they are now out of the August top 8.
Of course, no disrespect to Panda Global, they're still the 8th best team here in this entire August Open, and they also stand to walk away with some good prizes as well. And that said, I mean, it's been a great series. We're closing it out here. We still have more tournament schedules coming right up, and the next match will be between Tempo Storm, Murloc Geniuses, as well as Complexity and Cloud9, Luminosity, and Cognitive. Still a very long day to go ahead with.
So we're going into the winner's bracket after this, gents.
Yes, we are really excited, and that's going to be a big deal for those two teams moving forward, in particular Complexity and the Murloc Geniuses. If they can advance past that round, that will set them in a great spot to get qualified for that America's Champions. We'll have to see what happens as we move forward.
Next up, we got Tempo Storm. So here we have a bit of a team profile. Let's take a look at it.
Winning the June Open guarantees us regionals, which is one step closer to guaranteeing us a trip to BlizzCon to compete at the World Championship.
Now that we've moved into the gaming house and that we all live here and we do this professionally, I mean, it's such a big part of our lives that, you know, we're always talking about the game. We're always doing something involving the game.
We always knew that we wanted a house, so it was just something we really wanted to plan for and be in one day.
We met each other once at BlizzCon, and so I kind of knew who they were, but it was really easy transition to just move into this house and like get along with everybody.
I think the biggest strength of having a gaming house is that you're all together all the time. More than that, I think you gain an overall synergy and a bond that you would never have without it.
Professional gaming is my dream, always has been. All the other options have been to be involved in esports, but I always question whether or not I could actually be a player.
Yeah, you got Dreadnought, who comes from a sports background. He was actually competing at a high level in high school baseball, which is completely different from, you know, the generic, you know, gamer background. Then you have KO, who was a major in piano performance arts, which is just actually a complete 180 from where Dreadnought comes from. Then you have Arthlon and Zuna. They both come from a really intense competitive gaming background. And then you have Soldier, who is what you would expect. You know, he's very shy, he's very quiet, he keeps to himself. There's so much diversity involved. It just leads to really interesting situations.
Your workplace basically is also where you have fun, so it can intertwine sometimes and be kind of a struggle, but you find the right balance eventually.
It is a lot of work. Some of them can be a little bit of divas at times, but you know, they've earned it. They are the top of the NA scene right now, probably top of the world, or they might be the actual best team right now.
It's been a long road to get here, and when we actually, you know, took that championship, we just were super proud of, you know, all the hard work that we put in. It really paid off.
We're still the top team. We can beat anyone. We still play our game.
This game is all about working as a team, and we have the most experience on like how to work with a team and what to do as a team.
We usually do about 6 to 7 hours of scrims a day, do an hour of replay where we're just going over making sure we're refining our minor mistakes, getting everything nailed down.
And then after that, you're free to do what you want, so it's like everyone goes with each other and like you celebrate wins together.
Just go out and do things as friends rather than as, you know, the hardcore competitive teammates that we are when we're actually practicing.
It's awesome just like being a part of a team where everyone gets along.
We like to watch foreign teams play like down on the TV now. I think that's going to be a really common thing. That's going to be a lot of fun.
We all have our quirks and our things we like to do that are, you know, weird or whatever, and I think we've all gotten used to it by now.
But overall, I don't think there's like too many things outside of gaming. It's pretty much gaming 24/7 here at the house.
I want to be the best, so winning is everything.
When we show up and we play well and we execute what we've worked on and we come through and win, that's the best feeling.
By going to these tournaments and proving that we are still the #1 team in North America, that's all these guys strive for.